have earned that right. And so
stories take center stage as Purdue and Oklahoma State cap comeback seasons in a battle at the Alamo. At the Rose Bowl, Michigan and Washington State play follow the leader as Charles Woodson and Ryan Leaf prep for Pasadena's prize. While Orange Bowl occupants, Nebraska and Tennessee, bide their time, hoping for an opportunity. We kick off day 5 of Bowl Week next. Tonight, dueling long shots square off with the Alamo. This Purdue's Billy Dicken, best known as a backup defensive back before this season. He's led Purdue to its first bowl since '84. Oklahoma State's enjoyed a similar revival behind Mr. Do-Everything R.W. McWhorter. It's college football's other triple threat. It is the Builders Square Alamo Bowl from the Alamo Dome. Big 12's Cowboys at 8-3. The Big 10's Boilermakers also 8-3, both trying to cap successful seasons with a benchmark bowl win tonight. Welcome to Pasadena. Less than 48 hours from now, two teams that have also engineered turnarounds this year, Washington State and Michigan, play for the highest possible stakes, and the anticipation is really building. We are coming to you from just south of the Rose Bowl. Chris Fowler, Lee Corso, and Kirk Herbstreit, welcome to our bowl special. The entire careers, you guys have strived to get to a Rose Bowl, right? Well, you're here. Yeah, you're a little late. That's decades late in your case, just a few years late in your case. We're going to break down the Alamo Bowl tonight. We'll also have plenty on the Orange Bowl, a report from Miami, also the Fiesta and the Citrus Bowls. But first, we'll talk about the Rose Bowl and the two leaders on the respective teams. They come from very different backgrounds, Ryan Leaf and Charles Woodson, but what they share is perhaps more important, the great talent, both among the top 3 Heisman vote getters, both top draft picks, perhaps next year in the NFL draft. And they also share a very competitive fire that will share the field a lot in the Rose Bowl. The camaraderie kind of built during the Heisman weekend, and then here in the Rose Bowl preparations, so they hung out at Universal Studios. Their link, though, is found on the field and is rooted in their tremendous athletic ability.
I make plays, baby. I make plays. That's all to it. Do all the talking, I do the walking, baby.
You know, he wants the ball, and when he has it, good things happen.
Woodson back, grabs this one on his 23, races to his left.
He loves the sport. He loves everything that he can do to win the game.
To the 25, splits 2 men, down to his left at the 40, 45, and there he goes! Charles Woodson down the sideline! Touchdown, Michigan!
He can exploit you, whether if he's on defense or offense, you know, he can make you look silly.
Coach Price is like, all year long, he said, don't throw somebody's way, don't throw somebody. That just kind of fuels my fire a little bit,
When Ryan Leaf has the ball and it's at the end of the game, I'm going to bet on him if it's a close game. If you're playing pool and he's got the last shot for the 8 ball, I'm going to bet on Ryan Leaf. Racquetball or golf, and he has to make a putt or he has to drive it right down the middle, my bet's going to be on Ryan Leaf.
A lot of times he knows where he's going with the football before the ball's snapped, and bang, he throws the ball, and you didn't get to him.
That reaction there says a lot about Ryan Leaf. We all know he's an emotional player. Anybody who's played in a Rose Bowl will tell you it's unlike any other game. You can't possibly be prepared for that emotion. I wonder if Leafs could have spent the first couple of series just getting that adrenaline out of the system, firing passes over guys' heads. You don't think so?
No, I don't think so. I've liked Ryan Leaf before the football season. I said he would be the #1 college quarterback pick in the National Football League ahead of Manning, and I'm going to tell you why. Number one, he's got great size. He's 6'6", 240. He throws all the pro passes. He's a heck of an athlete, was a great basketball player in Montana. And last but not least, the guy is tough. He could play linebacker for Washington State. I think he's a leader, and he leads by example.
He sure does. I think it's been funny this whole week. You have Ryan Leaf, Charles Woodson. Both teams have been hanging out quite a bit, having a lot of fun. Make no mistake, behind all that fun, there's a lot of animosity. I think if you just look at the history of the Big Ten and the Pac-10 and the Rose Bowl, traditionally both schools come in with a lot of confidence, almost arrogance. And I think this year both schools are living up to that. So behind all this fun and going to these banquets, these guys want to get after each other. It's going to be fun to watch. And rooted in that is the belief that neither side has seen anything like what we've got. That's right. It's interesting. The slings and arrows have begun to be, you're right, it's been quiet. It hasn't been public. Well, one of the important matchups besides Woodson versus Leaf is the Washington State defensive line against Michigan's offensive line, which has been a quiet strength of the team all season. Wazoo's defense, when you look at it statistically, not all that impressive, but they did play a lot of good offenses in the Pac-10 conference, and they do have a very big, imposing defensive line. Gary Holmes, 6'7", 316. Look at Bender going almost 300 pounds. Now, Michigan's 6 opponents that are in bowl games. The average defensive line they faced against those teams, 6'3", 264. So you can see that Washington State's defensive line averages 25 pounds per man more than Michigan's bowl opponents, and I know you like them.
Hey, I tell you what, Michigan's offensive line gets a lot of publicity, and I'll tell you exactly what's going to happen. Michigan's going to come out and test the manhood of that front seven Washington State. They're going to roll up their sleeves and going to say, come on, let's see who's a better man. But let me tell you something. Washington State is better than people think. They're strong, they're athletic, got some National Football League prospects in there. People just never heard of them, that's all.
Roll them up, roll them up. You know, you go back to the beginning of the year, Coach, and the big question mark of Michigan's football team was the offensive line. The left guard and left tackle hadn't played one game of college football, and through that, a game experience in coaching, they became a strength by the end of the year. But the thing I like about these guys is everybody talks that they're big and massive. They're really not. They're average across the front, 6'6", 290. When you see them in person, they look like basketball players. They can move around. Very, very good athletes.
And they've taken the challenge. They knew at the start of the season their performance would be a key. Michigan's offense, not a big play offense except for the occasional Woodson catch, but I think the line likes it that way. They love those 90-yard drives, just beat on the defense. A lot more coming up on the Rose Bowl. We'll roll up our sleeves and dig into some other ball games, including the Orange Bowl with Jamal Lewis in Tennessee, a challenge against that Cornhusker defense. And also, we'll talk about the Fiesta Bowl. Michael Bishop and the Cats, an important game for their program against a very hot Syracuse team. All that and more when we come back to Pasadena. As we talked about all week down at the Orange Bowl, it's Nebraska that has the other quarterback besides Peyton Manning and Scott Frost, but it's Tennessee that has the other head coach, the guy who is not retiring after a great quarter century. Phil Fulmer has the outstanding regular season winning percentage. He's won 4 out of 5 bowl games, but he never gets the credit or perhaps the respect from his peers that record might ordinarily warrant. With more on that, we kick it down to the Orange Bowl and Mike Adamle in Miami. Mike?
Well, Chris, Phil Fulmer was just part of the big story today. The big story, Orange Bowl Media Day here at Pro Player Stadium. The last real major function for the Cornhuskers and Volunteers before Friday's game. As you might expect, Peyton Manning took center stage. This is probably the only thing he won't miss about his Tennessee Volunteer career. Tom Osborne, also a major attraction as well. This is his final media day after 25 incredible seasons. Phil Fulmer did have plenty to say as well, and our Steve Cyphers filed this report of the Tennessee head coach.
Even if he weren't retiring after 25 years, Tom Osborne would still be the coach in the spotlight this week, and the other coach doesn't mind.
I don't need the national or just the exposure, I guess, although that's flattering, and that helps when it comes contract time and all those kind of things, certainly, and I am aware of that.
Contract time should be a snap because of all active Division I coaches, and that includes Osborne. Fulmer has the best winning percentage. Are people surprised to learn that?
I think they probably are because they don't know who Philip Fulmer is.
Who's Philip Fulmer? He's the one who went to Tennessee to play linebacker and ended up an offensive lineman. Then he coached the position for so many years that he grew comfortable basking in the glow of his own anonymity.
I'm not a guy that's looking for the limelight. I enjoy my job very much. I enjoy the relationships that we have with the coaches and particularly the relationships with the players, and that's the reward that you really get.
I think that's his main deal. I don't think he's worried about his own record as much as his team.
Should his team upset Nebraska and should Michigan lose in the Rose Bowl, then a national title could come his way. And fame. Nah. Forget the fame.
I'm more interested in our team playing well and winning this football game than anything else that can come out of this game.
Spoken like a true lineman, whatever his name is. At the Orange Bowl, Steve Cyphers, ESPN.
Thanks, Steve. And certainly Fulmer's record speaks for itself. Joined now by Sean Salisbury. About the only thing missing from the coach's resume is longevity.
Yeah, Mike, for him to be mentioned with Tom Osborne and Joe Paterno, he needs to withstand the test of time. He's only been the head coach at Tennessee for 6 years. He doesn't rant and rave. He doesn't self-promote. He just coaches. But he's also had the luxury, while he's been coaching those 6 years, of the quarterbacks Heath Schuler and Peyton Manning. And now as we head into the post-Manning era, we'll get a chance to see just how good a coach Philip Fulmer really is. And if he can have that success over the next 6 years, we'll mention him among the great coaches in college football.
But first things first, certainly win over Tom Osborne in what his final football game as head coach of Nebraska would look pretty good in Phil Fulmer's resume. That's it from Pro Player Stadium in Miami. Chris, back to you in Pasadena.
Mike, thank you. Yeah, in the years coming, Sean, I think that Tennessee offensive emphasis is going to shift to this guy, Jamal Lewis. You can see the difference the last 9 games versus the first 3 when the freshman really hadn't become worked into the offense, wasn't that familiar with pass protection, which you have to know if you're going to play tailback for Tennessee. But look in the last 9 games, Jamal Lewis accounting for almost 35% of Tennessee's offense. That's his rushing yards and also a few yards that he's picked up as a receiver. So he has really come on strong after getting his feet wet in the first few games, which unfortunately for Tennessee included the Florida game.
Well, I think by Jamal Lewis stepping up, the man that really helped is Peyton Manning. If you look, the yards went down, but the touchdown to interception ratio really did improve drastically. It went 2.5 to 1 all the way up to close to 4 to 1. So the thing that look in this football game, if they get the balance of Jamal Lewis, it's going to help that passing game with Peyton Manning.
You know, Kirk, when you talk about Nebraska, you talk about their offensive line, you talk about Scott Frost, the quarterback, but there's a guy named Amon Green that I really like, and this is why. He's had 11 straight 100-yard rushing games, but mark this one down. This is a blue liner. He averaged 173 yards in every game against ranked opponents. Big-time player in big games. Nebraska without a tailback is like Dirty Harry without a gun. You know what I mean?
It's a big gun, the 44 Magnum.
How do you do that?
Most powerful handgun in the world.
Really?
You feeling lucky, punk? I see you back here. New Year's Day, College Game Day comes your way at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. We'll come to you from Pasadena and also from Miami. Plenty on both of the big bowl games presented by Outback Steakhouse at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Tonight's game is the Builders Square Alamo Bowl down in the Alamo Dome. It's Oklahoma State coming in a great season, but still something to prove. They lost to good teams, did not beat a single team this year that had a winning record. As for Purdue, Joe Tiller, the most successful in any of the first-year coaches, would love to cap it off with a victory in a bowl game. For a preview, we go down to Mike Tirico.
Well, Chris, you hear it all the time. Coaches talking about 85 players, the scholarship reduction, forcing them to do creative things, like play players on both offense and defense. Well, with Charles Woodson winning the Heisman, it becomes a more in vogue thing to do. But it's been happening all year with success for Oklahoma State. Their junior R.W. McQuarters.
McQuarters has a chance to return this one at the 22-yard line. Goes wide to the 25, to the 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. He's at the 40. He cuts back to the 35. Still going. He's to the 30. He's to the 20. He's to the 10. 5. Touchdown. Lobs the ball deep, and it's caught. Touchdown, Cowboys. Into round of McQuarters. He's got some room. 45, 50, 45, 40, 30. Far sideline, 20, 10, 5. Touchdown, Cowboys.
He had as many exciting moments as Charles Woodson, and when you compare their touches on offense and special teams, McQuarters almost doubled the output yards per touch. Charles Woodson did have more interceptions, and McQuarters will even tell you Charles the better defensive player. Todd Blackledge will call the Alamo Bowl with me tonight. Todd, are we stretching for a story, or is this a realistic comparison?
No, I think it's realistic. I mean, he's not the defender Woodson is right now because he tends to lose concentration and focus sometimes, and he gets beat on some plays. But offensively and as a punt returner, he's every bit the player that Charles Woodson is, maybe even a tad better. As a punt returner, he was #2 in the nation. Bottom line, for Oklahoma State to have a chance tonight, RW has to show up in a big way in all 3 phases of the game and make plays.
You could really make the argument that McQuarters is the key player on both sides of the ball for Oklahoma State in their game against Purdue. 2 8-3 teams that had Cinderella stories. Who will have the storybook finish? The Builders Square Alamo Bowl is next. Chris?
Fellas, thank you. Yeah, we would expect McQuarters to come back next year, and he might be the Woodson guy, assuming Charles moves on. They kind of a triple threat marquee player in college football. But you say there's another comparison between our game tonight and the Rose Bowl here, lying on the offensive side of the ball.
Chris, when you watch this ball game tonight, watch Purdue's offense against Oklahoma State, and you're going to see a preview of what Washington State's going to do against Michigan. The reason why is this. Joe Tiller, the head coach at Purdue, worked at Washington State for 5 years, developed Drew Bledsoe. That, I think, is a secret weapon for Washington State. Joe Tiller's knowledge of the Big Ten.
So who do you like in the Alamo Bowl?
Purdue.
Okay. All right. I just want to talk. I just wanted to put that on the record. Purdue's offense this year, #1 in the Big Ten. The big reason is everybody talks about their new scheme, but their quarterback play with Billy Dicken. He had an injury-plagued career. Only had 4 touchdown passes coming into this season. Had 19 this year, and he averaged 255 yards per game. Look for Billy Dicken and the running of Edwin Watson to be the difference. I like the Boilermakers.
Well, Dicken needs Watson to have success. You talked about the effect that Jamal Lewis had on Peyton Manning. In the 4 games when Dicken has not had a running game for Purdue, when they've rushed for under 150 yards, he's thrown just 2 touchdown passes, 6 interceptions. When they run the ball well, Dicken is successful. So look for that balance. It's important tonight for Purdue. That game is coming up. Billy Dicken, he was a defensive back. His shoulder was thought to be too injured to play quarterback. He's proved people wrong. That game coming up, we've got more in the meantime. The Pasadena, that was the last year the Cougars got to the Rose Bowl. It was a lot of fun, but then they showed up and played Alabama and got shut out by the Crimson Tide, have not been back since then. Michigan's Mad Magicians. They sometimes 4 or 5 different guys handled the ball in a single play, a dominant team. They shut out USC. That is Michigan's last national champion. Somebody's going to go on the Rose Bowl's wall of champions as the 1998 Rose Bowl champion come out New Year's Day. But our bowl blitzers, you can call them the Mad Magicians. They stop in now to preview 4 other bowl games, starting with Steve Berkowitz in that Fiesta Bowl matchup of Kansas State and Syracuse.
Kansas State and Syracuse have never met, but they shouldn't have trouble preparing for their meeting in the Fiesta Bowl. Quarterbacks Donovan McNabb and Michael Bishop are equally adept at running the ball and passing. Quentin Spotwood and Darnell McDonald each lead a trio of receivers who average nearly 20 yards per catch, and each side has excellent special teams. So where's the difference? Positive postseason experience for key players. Safety Donovan Darius has been the Orangemen's leading tackler in bowl victories the past 2 seasons, helping them run the nation's leading bowl winning streak to 7. K-State is making its 5th straight bowl appearance. The running back Eric Hickson and linebacker Travis Oakes are about the only Wildcats who've been major factors in a win. Now the Bowl Blitz continues with Tony Barnhart.
Playing the Gators in Florida is always tough enough, but now Penn State has some real headaches going into the Citrus Bowl. Running back Curtis Enos is out after improper contact with an agent. So is wide receiver Joe Jaravicius. He's in Joe Paterno's academic doghouse. And Florida, well, they've still got all their weapons. Coach Steve Spurrier will stick with the quarterback shuffle of Doug Johnson and Noah Brandeis. And look out for Jaquez Green. He may be playing his last game as a Gator. Bottom line, Florida has too much speed and too much defense. The Gators win their 10th game for the 5th consecutive year. And now the Bowl Blitz continues with Gene Wojciechowski.
Okay, so Florida State, Ohio State isn't for a national championship, but I dare you to find better individual matchups than the ones you'll see in the Sugar Bowl. Matchup number 1, cornerback Antoine Winfield against Peter Warwick. The amazing Winfield is only 5'9", but he had just 1 less tackle than Butkus Award winner Andy Katzenmoyer. Meanwhile, Warwick is frustrated by a late-season decrease in catches. He wants this to be his breakout game. Matchup number 2, can Ohio State's slowly improving offensive line stop Florida State's Greg Spires and Andre Wadsworth? Don't think so. That means the Seminoles win the battles and the war. The Bowl Blitz continues with Don Borst.
UCLA would just as soon have played the Cotton Bowl a month ago. The Bruins were maybe the hottest team in college football at the end of the regular season when they won their last 9 games and almost wound up in the Rose Bowl or Sugar Bowl. But now they've had more than a month to cool off. Texas A&M has had most of a month to scrub off the whooping that Nebraska smeared on them in the Big 12 championship game. Still, UCLA quarterback Cade McNown starts his 1998 Heisman Trophy campaign on Thursday, while he still has Jim McElroy to throw it to and Skip Hicks to hand it to. It's now 4 years since Texas A&M coach R.C. Slocum fired Bob Toledo as his offensive coordinator, and now here's Toledo's chance to show R.C. just how good an offense can look when it does things his way.
Fellas, thank you. Back to the Citrus Bowl. No team more short-handed for its bowl than Penn State. Enos and Jurevicius between them accounted for 30 of Penn State's 47 offensive touchdowns. So Chris Eberle and Cordell Mitchell try to step in for Enos. Joe Nastasi, Tikas Pettigrew will try to fill the big play void left by Jurevicius. Now, in the Gator Bowl, North Carolina will be perhaps shorthanded. Jonathan Linton, their best running back, strained knee ligament in their final major practice, but doctors are still hopeful he will play. It was heavily wrapped. They need him. There's a big drop-off at tailback after Linton for North Carolina. Basically, for the Fiesta Bowl, K-State and Syracuse all hands on deck for this game.
Well, I think if you're looking at this football game closely, you understand that both teams rely heavily on the play of their defense and also the athletes at quarterback. I think Donovan McNabb, his ability to make things happen, and also look for Quentin Spotwood. Too many athletes on Syracuse's offense. That's the difference. Syracuse beats Kansas State.
This is my best one ever. Dorothy, click her heels 3 times and go home to Kansas. Not so fast, my friend. Is that a good one or what?
Taking it to a whole different level now.
Kansas State has got a winner in Michael Bishop. He can play. He's 34-1 as a starter. I like Michael Bishop and Dorothy over Syracuse. Is that a good one or what?
You spent time working on this at the pool today.
Big 12 going down.
We're counting down to the Builders Square Alamo Bowl down in San Antonio. We've talked about him. R.W. McQuarters must make big plays on that carpet tonight for the Cowboys to upset the Boilermakers. We're coming back. National Car Rental Bowl Week continues. A matinee tomorrow, 3:30 Eastern Time. The Pittsburgh Panthers excited to be in Memphis against Southern Miss. A good test for Gonzalez and that offense against a good Southern Miss defense. You know, Pittsburgh had to win a wild triple overtime game to even get to a bowl. They have to beat their arch rivals on the road here. Pete Gonzalez against West Virginia drops back. It's Jake Hoffert for the big first down. That was on a 4th down play. Put them at the 13-yard line. A couple plays later, Gonzalez to Terry Murphy for the game-winning touchdown. Momentum went back and forth. Gonzalez with his mom looking on, tears in his eyes, wins the game against West Virginia. His last 6 bowls, 5 different coaches for Pittsburgh, so it's been a little bit unstable, but they've gotten to a bowl again this year, but a tough opponent tonight.
No question. And Southern Mississippi is a hot football team. They won 6 out of the last 7 games. The 3 of the games they lost this year is at Florida, at Tennessee, and at Alabama. They win on defense. Also, they played Florida, Tennessee, and Nevada. Good passing teams. I think that pass defense helps them beat Pittsburgh.
Well, this is my own not so fast, my friend. I like the Pittsburgh Panthers in this football game because of the coach, Walt Harris. He's going to have this team ready to go. Pete Gonzalez, the quarterback, has been on fire this year. He had 30 touchdown passes, and I'll tell you what, Pitt on defense as well can get after it. I think that Pittsburgh will bounce back and win this bowl game.
Good matchup, Gonzalez against that very good Southern Miss defense. Remember, Pittsburgh, in their Big East games, led in the final minute of every game except the Temple game, of all people. So Pittsburgh's played in some close games, as we saw against West Virginia. They know what to do when the game is tight, even though it's not a very veteran team. We are counting down to the things at the Alamo Bowl. Fun in Pasadena leading up to the Rose Bowl. Come back with some final words before the kickoff after this. Beautiful setting here. The initial forecast of maybe rain on New Year's Day. Thankfully, that's fading a little bit. We expect nice weather. But we're 9 games into the bowl season. You know that we've not had a single upset so far. The favorites have won all of them. The trend has been for high-scoring games. 7 of the 9 games, the winning team has scored more than 30 points. And you don't think it's important to score first?
Oh, I think it is.
Score early and often.
Yeah, well, every time the team that has scored first has won the bowl game, except for Notre Dame, which scored first and lost to LSU. We're back here at halftime of the Builders Square Alamo Bowl. We'll talk about the Orange Bowl, Nebraska's defensive backs against Tennessee. Plenty more on the Rose Bowl. But now to the Alamo Dome, Oklahoma State and Purdue.
Welcome to National Car Rental's presentation of ESPN Bowl Week.
He scored! Watson scores! The go-ahead touchdown!
That was a gutsy call by Coach Tiller.
The Boilermakers got to be walking on cloud 9 right now.
It's a century of football history, but only 5 bowl games. But this is a new Purdue. Coach Joe Tiller's arrival has signaled a turnaround.
Start having a great life. It's about living with inspiration. Start having a great life.
Cowboy doubters, It's time to believe. Caught! Touchdown, Cowboys! What Bob Simmons has done for this program is remarkable.
Oklahoma State's recent glory seemed a distant memory, but thanks to Coach Bob Simmons, tonight the Cowboys make their first bowl appearance in 9 years.
He's having a great life. He's living inspiration. Start having a great life.
One of the most recognizable landmarks in Texas is the Alamo, and it's a landmark night for Purdue and Oklahoma State football. For the first time in the 90s, these two teams ready to play in a college football bowl game. Welcome to the Builders Square Alamo Bowl. Mike Tirico with Todd Blackledge, the quarterback of the Penn State National Champs back in 1983. So many of us who are college football fans would love to see a playoff. But let me give you playoff thinkers food for thought. If we had a playoff system, no matter how big, Purdue and Oklahoma State wouldn't be playing postseason. And you know what? These teams deserve the reward they're getting tonight.
Yeah, they really do. I mean, you know, I think these two teams are symbolic of what happened in college football this season. There were several teams that had breakthrough campaigns. There were a couple big-name teams that didn't play as well, but the breakthrough teams, 2 of them are playing tonight. They both won 8 bowl games. The bowl drought is over, not just for the players and coaches, but for some starved fans and alumni. They deserve this just reward.
All right, how'd they get here? For Purdue, they hired Joe Tiller, the Wyoming coach, opened up the offense, thrown it all over. You need a quarterback to do that, and Billy Dicken, a senior, has done a great job.
He has really emerged. He's fought through injuries. He's overcome. Not a bad first year in Joe Tiller's system. Over 2,800 yards and 19 touchdowns. Led the most prolific offense in the Big Ten. Did a real nice job spreading the ball around. 5 different receivers, over 25 catches this season. But his greatest asset, his competitiveness. He doesn't have a huge arm. He doesn't have great speed, but he will fight you every single play.
He will face an aggressive defense tonight, but maybe when you have a high-powered passing attack, the best defense is having a good offense yourself. And Oklahoma State has a good quarterback to lead their own. His name's Tony Lindsay.
Yeah, well, Oklahoma State likes to run the football, but they need to control the clock and control the ball. And to do that, they're going to need their redshirt freshman quarterback make some plays. Look to him to make plays, running the option, running play action and bootleg. He's a very agile guy. He's got terrific poise for a young guy. He's the son of a high school football coach, carries himself very well, and he has the foot speed and the inside out there that if things break down, he can turn it into a big play. Tony Lindsay needs to make plays for the Cowboys.
Well, you're not going to win a bowl game just running the ball. When they put it in the air, they have a weapon on the business end of those passes. For more on him, the third man of our team, Dr. Jerry Putt.
Thank you, Michael. Hello, everybody. You know, rarely in this age of specialization is the impact player for a team on offense and defense one and the same. However, in 1997, we've already seen that kind of player win a Heisman Trophy in Michigan's Charles Woodson. Well, tonight, Oklahoma State hopes that kind of player, junior wide receiver, defensive back, and kick returner R.W. McQuarters, can win them a football game. On offense, McQuarters is electrifying. He can do it all. Whether running or catching the football, he makes things happen. In fact, don't be surprised if they challenge the Purdue secondary early with him to stretch him to gather momentum. On defense, the all-Big 12 cornerback has a history of being a little bit of a gambler. Now, that in combination with a little bit of fatigue associated with so many plays on offense and returning kicks has caused him to be beaten deep early in the year. Now, whether on top of his game, he is a weapon offensively, but too many plays to cause him to be a weakness on defense. Either way, that marathon man right there should be fun to watch. Mike?
Well, he's got about 30,000 Oklahoma State fans here with him. They've waited 9 years. The Purdue fans have waited 13 for a bowl game. They only have to wait 1 more minute for the Builders Square. A crowd of about 55,000 expected here at the Alamo Dome for Purdue and Oklahoma State. Their fans have been filling the Riverwalk all week. They are excited. Joe Tiller's brought the excitement back to Purdue football at age 55. The former coach at Wyoming is coaching his second bowl game. He took the Cowboys of Wyoming to the '93 Copper Bowl. The Cowboys of Oklahoma State are led by Bob Simmons, age 49. Of course, the man who was passed up for the Colorado job, a longtime assistant with the Buffs, has really brought success back to football in Stillwater. We talked about the drought for these teams. This is Purdue's first bowl game since 1984. Oklahoma State's first since 1988. Although infrequent visitors, they are successful postseason teams.
Ironically, Oklahoma State's last bowl game was the 1988 Holiday Bowl when they beat a Wyoming team. Joe Tiller was the offensive coordinator on that football team. Not a good memory for Joe Tiller the last time in a bowl game he faced Oklahoma State.
Oklahoma State winning the toss, deferring to the second half. Russ Schwetman set to kick off. Oklahoma State in orange, Purdue in white. The Alamo Bowl is underway. Immediately mishandled. Chris Clopton finds some real estate and gets down to the 26-yard line. Now, the Napa starting lineups for Purdue on offense. We talked about the quarterback Ditkin. They play a one-back with Ed Watson, fourth all-time leading rusher for Purdue. Wide receiver number 80, Brian Alfred. Watch him. Team co-MVP, the school's all-time leading receiver. The offensive line, the same 5 starters every game this year. Mark Fisher, the best of the bunch, at left tackle. 5 receivers, no backs for Alfred and the Boilermakers. The drive starts at their own 27. Ditkin mishandled the snap. Incomplete pass intended for Donald Winston, the sophomore. Here's how Oklahoma State will line up defensively. 4 defensive linemen, and Jamal Williams, the defensive coordinator, says he may be the best defensive tackle you see all of bowl week. Kenyatta Wright, watch him in the linebacking core, quarterback of this defense, and the number 2 tackler for Okie State. Kevin Williams. We talked about McWhorter's one corner. Well, Kevin Williams is also an all Big 12 cornerback, 10th in the nation with 6 INTs. Receivers again for 2nd and 10. You'll see 1 or no backs all night for Purdue. Quarterback draw for Ditkin. He'll get about 9 yards and be close to the first down. Terrell Knowles up from his linebacker's spot to make the stop.
Really nice job by Billy Ditkin reading this defense. Oklahoma State is showing pressure. They want to keep people around the line of scrimmage, but watch as Ditkin comes back. Watch the linebackers drop out of there. He sees the linebackers drop out. He follows right up in there behind Brian nicely and picks up a nice gain. Oklahoma State tried to show pressure and drop out, and Billy Ditkin made him pay for it.
Close enough to the first down for the senior, 5th-year senior, that they will measure. Southeastern Conference officials assigned to this bowl game. Bill Goss leading this SEC crew. And it's 3rd and a couple of links for the Boilermakers. Now, Todd, we talk about passing. Purdue, passing. Can they run the ball, and how effectively?
Well, they run the ball very well. I mean, you would expect them to not run the ball very well, but they averaged over 178 yards per game running the football. Actually finished ahead of Ohio State in terms of Big Ten rushing. Surprised a lot of people, but they were the 5th best running team in that conference.
It will be a predominantly Oklahoma State house. That's why you hear all the noise as Purdue tries to do what it did so often this year. Get a first down on 3rd down. They're going to be close as Oklahoma State's aggressive defense hit Ed Watson.
One of the drawbacks of this kind of offensive set and style with only 1 back is short yardage plays are a little bit tough because you don't have a lead blocker. You don't have a fullback in there to pave the way, but Edwin Watson, a very physical, tough runner, was able to still pick up that first down on his own.
So despite the Oklahoma State excitement, Joe Tiller's offense has it 1st and 10. Minute gone by, first quarter of the Builder Square Alamo Bowl. 4 receivers. The screen for Watson. Just about a yard to the 39. R.W. McWhorter, the 2-way player, was one of the guys with pressure Kenyatta Wright in on the tackle. This is what Joe Tiller's offense has really injected the excitement to the Purdue and West Lafayette campus, a school record for 363 points.
Yeah, and teams, particularly teams they played early, were really confused going against this offense because they had no idea what to expect from Joe Tiller's system. Even if they studied Wyoming film, it still is much different when you get on the field, and Billy Ditkin just did a nice job all season of picking up this offense and making it work.
Pick up of 1, 2nd and 9. Hand off to Watson. Well read by Kenyatta Wright. That's why we told you to watch him. He's the second leading tackler on this team. The sophomore out of Oklahoma makes it 3rd and long.
Kenyatta Wright is one of the real fiery leaders of this defense. He is the guy that makes all the calls. Here he is lined up with his hand on the ground. Watch him pursue this play from the bottom of the screen. He's lined up in an unusual position and just crashes down, uses his speed to make the nice play behind the line of scrimmage. But Kenyatta Wright is up for the challenge of this ballgame. He knows he's got a lot on his shoulders, calling all the defenses against multiple formations. Made a nice play there.
First down awaits just past the 47-yard line. Oklahoma State brings 4. First down is cross midfield to Alford. The leading receiver all time at Purdue has the Boilermakers over midfield to pick up a 14.
Good pass protection, Mike. You mentioned that offensive line has been intact for all 11 games. They do a nice job giving Dicken a good throwing lane. He takes a little bit of a hit, but well after the ball is thrown. And here's Alford working one-on-one against Evan Howe, number 28. He's a young corner, and they got him isolated against the best wide receiver. That's a good matchup for Purdue.
There you see those gaudy school totals that he added to this year with 59 catches and 9 touchdowns. Quick hitter with Watson. Picks up 4 or 5. It'll be 2nd and about 5.
When we talked to Rob Ryan yesterday, the defensive coordinator of Oklahoma State, he made it very clear to us that their #1 priority was to get to the quarterback and hit Billy Dicken. They had to get to him and knock him down. They couldn't let him sit back there and pick them apart because all those wide receivers, tough to cover all over the field. They're going to keep enough people around the line of scrimmage that hopefully they can get in and disrupt Billy Dicken's timing.
Yes, Rob Ryan is Buddy Ryan's son. Twins, his other brother Rex is now the defensive coordinator at Oklahoma. Watson for 4. It will be 3rd and 1.
There's going to be some good matchups with Brian Alford against whoever lines up against him. This time he's on the left side against R.W. McQuarters. And McQuarters wants to just establish himself physically, I think, right away against Brian Alford. Alford is a very physical wide receiver, and you can see not intimidated at all by the physical play there by R.W. McQuarters.
6'2" and 188, the size of Alford. Opening drive, it's 9th plays, 3rd and a yard. Dicken down the line. Trying to lean forward and get it, but Jack Golden, the junior linebacker, had him tied up. We'll wait for the spot, but I think he's a half step short. He is. It's 4th down.
Nice effort by Dicken, though. That looked like he was going to be tackled well behind the line of scrimmage, but good second effort and strength got him close to the stick, but still short of the first down.
Purdue uses 2 punters. Danny Rogers is the pooch punter, the short kicker. R.W. McQuarters back deep to receive. A huge factor on special teams. All 3 phases of the game is a factor. Rogers has been good about putting the opponents inside the 20. And has done it again.
Oh, they got too cute. They got too cute, Mike. They had it perfect, and they tried to squeeze 2 extra yards out of it, and ended up getting bit by it.
As our friend Mr. Corso would say, not so fast, my friend. They had it surrounded. It got out.
It's Brian Alford. Watch Williams just kind of keep his eye on Alford and let go of his man. He's watching Billy Dicken. Dicken's trying to get the ball to Alford, and Kevin Williams reads the quarterback and falls in and makes the play. That's good instincts by the cornerback, the senior Kevin Williams,
who was 10th in the nation in interceptions this year. Lindsey on the option, first down, keeps it and gets a couple of yards. Well, 9 plays, 63 yards. The opening drive for Oklahoma State. Let's go down to the sidelines and Dr. Jerry Punch.
Guys, after the initial Oklahoma State drive, Purdue's defensive coordinator, Brock Spack, made an adjustment with his linebackers. There is Brock, but he told his guys we're giving too much ground in the soft area just beyond the line of scrimmage. We need to sit more on the routes, particularly strong side linebacker Mike Rose needs to sit on the route of the tight end. They're running off their routes too quickly, giving too much ground in the short passes just beyond the line of scrimmage. Mike?
Rose out, 5 DBs in for the moment, Jerry, as Oklahoma State has 2nd and 9. Lindsey to the air, again for the tight end, overthrown and intercepted. It's Adrian Beasley, hurt earlier. Now hurts the Cowboys. He's at their 27-yard line.
See, the last time that Lindsey hit the tight end down the seam, there was no middle safety. This time when he tries to throw the tight end, there's a middle safety hanging out back there, and you can't overthrow the ball when you're throwing down the middle. That's always a danger, and a nice play by Adrian Beasley. There's a big difference throwing the ball to the tight end when that middle's open and when there's a safety back there hanging around.
Oklahoma State's best offensive player is their tight end, who's been injured and is out. So they went for the touchdown to the tight end once, didn't get it. This time going for the tight end, it's an interception, something Purdue did a lot of this year. Purdue first in the Big Ten in turnover margin.
You look at Purdue's defense statistically, and they gave up a lot of yards every game, over 400 yards a game, but they were very opportunistic. Well, as you said, plus 13 in the turnover margin. They practiced it, they stressed it, they charted in practice, missed opportunities for turnovers, and they really thrived on that this year as a defense. They didn't stop people. They kind of bent but didn't break, but they made a lot of big plays turning the ball over.
Rock-Spack's adjustment helping Purdue get the ball back. Great field position at the OSU 28. Dicken beats the blitz, hits Ed Watson, who has the first down. 11-yard pickup. Dicken gets picked up by Maurice Simpson.
See, they caught Jack Golden, number 51, in a little bit of a bind. He wasn't sure what he was doing. Jack Golden is a linebacker. He's a great athlete, but he's a converted tight end. He's still kind of feeling his way through. Watch Golden right here. As he comes on the rush, he realizes, uh-oh, I've got coverage on the fullback. I better turn around and get him. And Dicken reads it right away and gets the football to Ed Watson. They caught Jack Golden in a little in-between situation there, and it was a good read by Dicken.
Watson is split to the near side as a wide receiver. No backs for Dicken. Got away from one man, but not the next. Lost 3 on the sack. The initial pressure coming from Kenyatta Wright. Tabor LeBlanc, one of the players who tied him up.
So when Purdue lines up in a formation like this with so many wide receivers, the bottom line is they only have a certain number of blockers. Most of the time, only 5. And if you bring one more rusher, you can't account for everybody. And that time the rush got to Dicken and was able to knock him down for the sack.
That's a number we'll be charting all night. Oklahoma State wants to pressure. Purdue wants to pass. Means a quarterback who's 6'1", 207 is going to get some licks. Dicken, Alford, touchdown! They did that 9 times this year.
It's the exact same combination route that they hit the tight end in for the big play earlier in the ball game. It's the slant right by Alford. It's the arrow route by the tight end, and it was a great quick throw by Billy Dicken right on the mark against the best cover guy, Kevin Williams, for the touchdown.
Shane Ryan on, adds the extra point. Purdue takes the lead. The turnover cost him 7.
This is the combination route that Dan Marino has made a living against. The quick slant by the outside man, the arrow by the tight end, and watch the quick flick of the wrist against pressure, right where Brian Alford could catch it and take it into the end zone. That's a great throw against pressure by Billy Dicken.
And Joe Tiller, who's really the man who's inserted this passing offense at Purdue, did it so successfully at Wyoming, where Marcus Harris was the great receiver. Brian Alford's been the guy with the big number of catches this year and catches the touchdown here.
It's Tim Lopano, the wide receiver coach, and boy, what a great year Brian Alford has had. I mean, he was a guy that didn't even know if he was going to have a season in 1997. He was academically ineligible at the end of last fall and had to check himself into a junior college out in Coffeyville, Kansas, to get himself eligible to kind of readjust and get right again, and wanted to play football again. And he's had a great senior season. Really has been one of the outstanding leaders on this Purdue football team.
He got himself eligible, not taking easy classes, management, statistics, accounting, business law. He got 3 A's and 2 B's. Try to keep it away from the quarters, and they do with Kevin Williams across the 25 to the 28. Well, Purdue and Oklahoma State, in addition to not being in a bowl since the 90s, have other similarities.
Yeah, they really do. First of all, there was a real preseason pruning by both Bob Simmons and Joe Tiller. You can see a lot of players started this season not as members of the team. They also both had favorable schedules. When you take a look at what they also had quarterbacks that emerged. Billy Dicken was not known to be the starter when the season started. Tony Lindsay didn't start till the 4th game. Both of them ended up having great seasons, a big part of their team's success.
More of that comparison in a minute, but now Lindsay, the freshman who made a mistake, let's see how he reacts on first down. To Nathan Simmons. Turns the corner and gets across the 35, a pickup of 7 yards.
Third similarity of these teams, they both had very favorable schedules. They both finished 8-3, but Purdue didn't have to play Michigan or Ohio State. Oklahoma State didn't play Nebraska or Kansas State. They beat some teams that were down a little bit, and they both had some early success. And then turnover margin, both teams finished a +13. They were very opportunistic on defense. They turned turnovers into points. These teams very, very similar. They also both stayed relatively injury-free throughout the entire season.
Their head coaches, Tiller in his first year at Purdue, Simmons his 3rd year at Oklahoma State, have become the most popular men in their towns other than the basketball coaches. The quarterback is sacked by the Purdue defense as Lindsay was trying to escape. Once again, it was Brent Botts, the reserve defensive tackle, who's been playing well in this first quarter. Botts came on as the season went on. The redshirt freshman had 4 sacks this year. That'll be a loss of a yard, so it will be 3rd down when our second quarter kicks off in a couple of minutes. Joe Tiller's team fell behind, made a special teams mistake, was able to bail itself out. Gets a touchdown pass from Alfred to Alfred from Billy Dicken. After 1, Purdue 7, OSU 3. Time for the second quarter of the Builders Square Alamo Bowl. 1997, Purdue by 4. Mike Tirico, Todd Blackledge, Dr. Jerry Punch with you from San Antonio. Key 3rd down to start this quarter, 3rd and 4 for OSU. Lindsay, the quarterback, keeping. It depends on the spot. His knee went down, but where the football was, I think he may have picked it up.
You know, this Tony Lindsay is amazing to me. When I watch them on film, the thing that just jumps out of the film is his incredible poise. And then you say, this guy can't be a freshman, but he really is. And I think what it's attributed to is just great upbringing by his dad. His dad, Hugh, was his high school football coach at Thomas Jefferson High School in Denver, and he just thinks like a coach out there. He doesn't try to force things. He's always thinking one play ahead, and he really makes good decisions for a young quarterback.
1st and 10 for Lindsay and the Cowboys. The big back Akins. Greg Smith started the defensive push. Willie Fells, the middle linebacker, cleaned it up. The numbers after the opening quarter will show a decisive advantage for Purdue in the passing yards and the total yards. The turnover for OSU cost them 7 points.
Yeah, big interception and a big return by Adrian Beasley set up that touchdown for Purdue, but Billy Dicken off to a very good start in this ball game. As you see, 7 of 11, 108 yards. They have not been able to disrupt his timing too much yet.
The freshman Tony Lindsay facing 2nd and 8 from the 40. Early movement. Was it the OSU offense or the Purdue defense?
Well, it was the Purdue defense, and what happened was the center, Jeremy Offutt, as soon as he felt the movement across the line of scrimmage, he snapped the football. That's why there was no play run. That was just the center saying, hey, let's get an easy 5 yards right now.
Offsides, defense, 5-yard penalty.
See, as soon as Perez comes off the line of scrimmage, Offutt, the center, snapped the football, and Tony Lindsay better learn to take a knee in that situation, though, because somebody's going to come in and take a pop on him, even though the play was dead.
Offutt starting his 20th consecutive game shows some of that experience there. OSU not penalized yet tonight.
Yeah, that's a smart move, because now you turn a 2nd and 9 situation into a very makeable 2nd and
4. 2 receivers, 2 backs. Lindsay tied up. Not much there. Fells with the pursuit again defensively. Chucky Wakori also in on the tackle. There's Wakori, 49, the junior from Lafayette, Indiana.
Willie Fells, the leading tackler on this football team, 127 tackles on the season, had a career-high 20 against Iowa. Watch him read it quickly and pursue down the line of scrimmage and then slip right in and get involved in the tackle. That's just good pursuit by the inside linebacker, Willie Fells. Got a hustle on the play clock. They're down to 3.
Lindsey gets it off. Pressured, hit as he throws. Nearly intercepted. Mike Hawthorne went up for it against Sean Love. It falls incomplete, and it's 4th down.
Tony Lindsey very fortunate on that particular situation because he was throwing that route as if he anticipated man coverage, but Mike Hawthorne was just sitting in there watching the quarterback the whole way. Watch Fells come on the blitz. He's going to force the early throw by Lindsey. And he is very fortunate against zone defense that this one wasn't picked off. Nice job by Sean Love turning from receiver into defensive back and knocking that ball down.
First punt for senior Jason Davis, who has a big leg. Exciting freshman Vinny Sutherland back deep to receive for Purdue. From the 14. Sutherland lost the ball, but Purdue able to get it back. Aaron Bunton able to fall on it. Terrence Gaines was the man who knocked it free. Near disaster for Purdue, but they get it back, leading OSU by 4.
All right, watch this play because this could be the game. The quarterback drops back and rolls right. Spots a receiver cutting upfield. He drills it. It's complete. Oh, he got nailed. And it looks like they're going to have to measure. Yes, they got it. They got the first. And the fans go wild.
Life's a trip, and it takes money to get where you're going. That's what mutual funds are for. At Janus, making money means looking for breaks nobody else saw coming, jumping on and riding them in. No matter what the market's doing, there are great companies to invest in. Janus finds them, so you can get there. Janus no-load mutual funds.
Let's go! Let's go! Let's go!
Fortune 500 companies know that when it comes to renting a car, there's really only one place to go. National Car Rental. Because at most major airports in America, National gets you in your car and on the road fast. So what are you waiting for? Let's go. National Car Rental.
Builder Square Alamo Bowl is presented by Builder Square, Heckinger, and Home Quarters.
The beautiful Riverwalk, the centerpiece of this exciting city. Downtown San Antonio for the holidays, where the fans from Purdue and Oklahoma State, Todd, they really show that they haven't been to a bowl in a while. They were allowed a little rowdy last night on the Riverwalk.
Well, and the Riverwalk's a perfect place for bowl crowds because you got one side of the river was Oklahoma State, one side was Purdue. They're chanting back and forth to each other. It's a great scene.
Nobody went into the river. Ed Watson stopped, lost maybe a yard.
Part of the strategy against Billy Dicken tonight for Oklahoma State. Try to hit him, get him out of his rhythm, make him look out of that ear hole a couple times. They were able to knock him down on the ground, but they've not gotten him out of his rhythm. Watch him stay right in the heat of pressure and make the nice throw to Alford for the touchdown. They've hit him, they've knocked him down a couple times, but they've not disrupted his timing or his rhythm to this point.
The numbers for the tough competitor, the 50-year senior, doesn't have a big arm. You're not going to see him throw it 50 yards, but they can move it down the field. And on the ground, too, with Ed Watson. First down across the 22 to the 24-yard line. Down to the sidelines is Dr. Jerry Punch.
Guys, last night, Purdue first-year head coach Joe Tiller checked his football team out of the posh hotel in downtown San Antonio near the beautiful Riverwalk. Said he wanted to get away from the fans, the festivities, and all the distractions. He took them about 30 minutes just north of San Antonio, where he said there was nothing but prairie dogs and privacy. That's up where we were staying, and I'll assure you there are no distractions. He said he wanted to be able to get his team focused. He wanted to get their game face on, so he moved them a half an hour out of town.
Well, that's why we were out there, too. We wanted to make sure we were away from the distractions and had our game faces on early in the week.
It's been a month. Make sure you guys are focused. Here is Dickens. First down and more. Billy Dickens across midfield. He's not supposed to be the running quarterback. 26 yards.
Well, we talked to Joe Tiller yesterday about Billy Dickens. He says, you know, I'm not going to come out and say he's really a mobile quarterback, but he's just mobile enough to be dangerous and to be effective. And this time on the quarterback draw, he really makes the Oklahoma State defense pay. You can see nothing in the middle, no linebackers in the middle of the field. So once Dickens reads it and gets past the initial line, he's got a lot of green field ahead of him, and he turns in a nice run.
Offensive coordinators for Purdue talked about the best thing he does is compete. Game in, game out. From around midfield. Another first down to Alford. Working on Kevin Williams, a 12-yard pickup.
Kevin Williams is the best cover guy for Oklahoma State, but he's been beaten for a touchdown. He's got an interception, but he's also been beaten here. He's given a lot of cushion to Brian Alford. He can't quite get out of his back pedal quick enough to come up and make a play on the ball. And an easy completion for Brian Alford.
We put R.W. McQuarters, the other first-team All-Big Ten cornerback, out there in the same class as Charles Woodson. So why doesn't McQuarters go all over the field with Alford?
Well, that just would destroy the integrity of Rob Ryan's defense. He likes to keep his corners on one side of the field.
Pass deflected and incomplete. On first down, good pressure by the Oklahoma State front line. Terrell Knowles was the man who broke it up.
You know, just to finish that point also, if you didn't think that Kevin Williams was as good of a corner cover guy as R.W. McQuarters, maybe you'd think about flopping him, but he is just as confident that Kevin Williams is every bit as good of a cover corner, maybe even better, because he focuses a little better. He's an older, more mature guy, so he feels very comfortable whichever side Alford goes to. He's got a good guy to cover it.
And the defensive coordinator, Rob Ryan, told us that if you listed the top 10 hits for OSU's defense this year, Williams made 8 of them. 2nd and 10 for Dickens. It was Knowles again. He had 2.5 sacks this year. The sophomore who went to a great basketball high school, Simon Gratz in Philadelphia. So he's a pretty good football player.
This is great coverage downfield. Oklahoma State just coming with a 4-man rush, but Billy Dickens nowhere to go with the football. And a nice stick at the end of the play by Terrell Knowles. Now, this time Alford's on the left side of the formation, and McQuarters right on top of him. Good coverage in the open field by R.W. McQuarters.
3. It's 3rd and 13.
That was the kind of hit that Rob Ryan wants on this quarterback. That was a good stick by Terrell Knowles.
OSU defensive confusion, and they take a timeout. Timeout's called by Purdue. OSU got a break there. We'll be right back.
The gentle whisper of a saxophone. The warm glow from a fine wine. The light from a Sylvania halogen 60-watt inner tungsten glass capsule A-line bulb. Just call us hopeless romantics. Sylvania, brilliant light.
My sister discovered it. She said that I could save over AT&T on every call in the U.S. just by dialing 10321. So I told my brother in Atlanta.
I save 50% on all calls over 20 minutes. That's half off. So I told a friend in L.A.
You just dial 10321, then 1, the area code, and the number.
And on it goes.
No fees.
There's no signing up.
And you get great international rates.
10321, that's all you got to remember.
Good news travels fast.
It's that time of year again, tax season. Are you prepared? Will you file your return with confidence or with crossed fingers? The Wall Street Journal Guide to Understanding Your Taxes can give you more confidence, and it's yours free with 10 weeks of the journal for just $3.90 a week. The Guide and the Journal, necessary items during a stormy season. Call now for the Wall Street Journal, 800-443-7400. That's 800-443-7400.
National Car Rental Bowl Week continues as Wisconsin takes on Georgia in the Outback Bowl. Wisconsin-Georgia, Thursday at 11 on ESPN.
18,000 students on the campus of Oklahoma State University in Stillwater. School founded on Christmas Day, 1890. The Boilermakers, some of the 35,000 enrolled in West Lafayette, have made the journey down south. 3rd and 13 for the Purdue offense. Dickett in trouble. Just put one up there and out there. And a flag for intentional grounding. Or roughing the passer.
Yeah, this one I think is going to go against Oklahoma State, although it's a very close call.
Bill Goss, Southeastern Conference official, leading this officiating crew.
Intentional grounding on the offense. Penalty's 5 yards in the spot and the loss of down. It'll be 4th down.
He did have a receiver out there to the left, but it was about 10 or 12 yards away from where the ball ended up.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that one. There was a receiver running down the left side of the field, and yes, it's obvious he was getting rid of the football to avoid the sack. But there's a couple white shirts around. Yeah, his receiver stopped. Maybe he misread the route. I don't know that you can call that one intentional grounding there.
Danny Rogers, his punting distance isn't important. He's the short pooch punter. Try to pin him inside the 20 with good hang time. R.W. McQuarters, the explosive returner, is back to receive. This one goes into the end zone and a touchback, but a flag is down near where the ball was kicked.
I think it's only going to be a 5-yard running into the kicker. This was not a roughing penalty. It probably will still force a 4th down punting situation for Purdue, but still an unnecessary penalty for Oklahoma State.
Clint Metcalf was the man who made the contact with Rogers.
This defensive series, that last defensive series, was very much a winning series for Oklahoma State because not only did they stop Purdue's offense and make them go backwards, they put a couple licks on Billy Dickett.
On the defense, the penalty is 5 yards. Repeat 4th down.
They tried to come after the punt here and just, you got to know the angle to take across the foot of the punter, not directly at him. And you could see at the end of the play as the punter was coming back down, Clint Metcalf just rolled right up into his leg.
He was engaged by John Blackman, the reserve tight end. So now McQuarters is back deep with 5 more yards. We'll see if Danny Rogers can pin him inside the 20 again. For Vinny Sutherland, who is 5'10". It's another touchback. OSU ball, the 20. Michigan, Washington State. The national championship on the line in the middle of the New Year's Bash. Thursday on ABC Sports. Michigan has the #1 defense in the nation. Washington State behind only Nebraska on offense. We've been talking so much about R.W. McQuarters and making the comparisons to the Heisman Trophy winner, Charles Woodson.
You know, there's been some speculation that Charles Woodson may not play much on offense in the Rose Bowl, particularly because that passing offense is really going to tax this Michigan defense, particularly the cornerbacks. They've got 5 wide receivers that Ryan Lee's very comfortable throwing the football to. So Charles Woodson and the rest of that defense will really be challenged in a different way by this Cougar offense.
Citrus Bowl before, Sugar Bowl after on ABC. And Todd and John Saunders will be in the studio keeping an eye on the games all day. Nathan Simmons is stopped for no gain. It will be 2nd down.
Simmons on the carry, hit by McCoy.
Well, this Purdue defense that Tony Lindsay is facing tonight, if you take the 4 units, offense and defense of each team, Purdue's defense would be the 4th of those 4 units. But as you said, they are opportunistic. Does that make you a better defense when you make big plays during the year? Do you gain somewhat false confidence but still have it on the field?
Well, I don't think it's a false confidence. If that's something that you know is a part of what you do well and you've made a living on it like Purdue has done, they forced 31 turnovers during the season, you don't mind giving up a lot of yards as long as you keep people out of the end zone.
Lindsay to throw to the tight end, Steggs. 1st down to the 34-yard line. Willie Fells in on the stop. That's the man who broke open for the near touchdown in the opening quarter, Steggs.
Again, you run the ball with some effectiveness. It sets up your bootleg. You can see Willie Fells, the linebacker, really fooled by the play-action fake, and that enabled Lindsey to make the throw. Watch Fells go with the run fake, and then by the time he recovers, it's too late. Easy completion for the Cowboys.
Play action can suck you in a little more when you're a predominant run team.
Yeah, and when you're a sophomore linebacker.
1st and 10. Here is Nathan Simmons bouncing it to the outside, but not much there. Adrian Beasley, who had the interception earlier, along with Lee Johnson on the stop.
Purdue is trying to get their safeties up around the line of scrimmage, both Beasley and Lee Brush, and it may be time for Oklahoma State and Tony Lindsey to try to throw the ball downfield a little bit. Try to get R.W. McQuarters involved running down the field, something to stretch the defense and pull those safeties away from the running game a little bit.
That a sloppy huddle, to say the least.
Yeah, there's a lot of confusion right now. They may need to take a timeout here.
And in fact, they do. Personnel coming in and out. OSU takes a timeout. We'll step aside for a moment halfway through 2nd quarter.
How would you like to escape the everyday rush and discover a place where people are important and not forgotten? Welcome to the Oak Park Tavern. You'll also discover a full menu with a variety of items using only the freshest ingredients. Now, you can have the convenience of pre-ordering your lunch, so it will be ready for you when you arrive. Whether it's for lunch or dinner, escape to the Oak Park Tavern.
So you hurt yourself playing ball, riding a bike, or whatever. Well, Med Central Sports Medicine Center is here to deal with your sports-related aches and injuries. We deliver specialized care to treat your pain and help your rehabilitation. Whether you're a weekend warrior or ready to go pro, Med Central Sports Medicine is for you. Ask your doctor to make an appointment.
Med Central, a new generation of healthcare.
Hey, Rich.
Stuart, you shouldn't have. I didn't get you anything.
All right, don't worry about it.
How'd you know?
I just, come on, put it on, put it on.
All right, all right. You knew my size and everything.
Yeah, it looks good.
Thank you.
It looks...
Feels good. Thanks.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays, man. Cool.
There may be more Oklahoma State fans, but the Purdue fans have been as loud as possible here tonight in the 1997 Builders Square Alamo Bowl, a 4-point lead for the Boilermakers out of the Big Ten against the OSU team that finished 2nd in the Big 12 South this year. 2nd and 11 for freshman quarterback Tony Lindsey. Pressure coming, picked it up, first down, Sean Love. The junior out of Oklahoma City beat Lee Brush for a 16-yard pickup.
This is an all-out blitz. They brought a lot of pressure on Tony Lindsey, but a nice job by the interior of the Oklahoma State offensive line. They gave Lindsey enough time to make the nice throw, and Sean Love, watch him catch the football with his hands. This is a mismatch, a wide receiver against Lee Brush, the strong safety, but a real nice job by Sean Love going up, catching that ball with his hands, not letting it get to his body.
The leading pass catches for wide receivers had 12 and 14 catches, so throws to the wideout, not a big part of this offense. Just a couple of yards on the first down run for Jamal Fobbs, the freshman out of New Orleans. Fobbs and Simmons rotate at tailback, and we thought it was interesting who makes the decision on the rotation.
Yeah, well, you know, it's got to be Bob Simmons that makes the decision, and you know, that's, of course, the father of Nathan Simmons. And we were talking about, boy, I'll tell you what, Jamal Fobbs he has to have a lot of self-confidence. If he knows the guy he's competing against and sharing time with, his dad's the head coach, he's got to have pretty high self-esteem. And Jamal Fobbs had a great year.
And their number of snaps was about the same. Here is Fobbs. Sneaks away and gets about a yard or so as Purdue defense is pursuing to the ball quite nicely. Chris Zerba, the junior.
Yeah, they're really doing a nice job running to the football. As you see Jamal Fobbs a little bit
dinged up after that run. And you know, Purdue is not an overly big defense. They made a lot of changes of personnel this year to get more speed on the defensive side of the football. They moved some defensive backs up to linebackers. They moved some offensive players over to defense. So they're not a real big unit, but they do have better speed than they've had the last couple years, and they've done a nice job running to the football tonight.
So Brock Spack and the Boilermaker defense kept OSU's running game in check as Fobbs is shaken up. 4 carries for just 8 yards thus far for Fobbs.
He led the team in rushing this year, 846 yards. He broke a freshman record at Oklahoma State that was set by Andre Richardson back in 1994. Andre Richardson, one of the guys that academically was not able to participate this year. He was the leading returning rusher. Nice job by Jamal Fobbs and Nathan Simmons filling in and taking up the slack. And take a look at the end of the play. Just a good hit coming from the inside just when he was a little bit exposed. Take a look at the hit coming from the inside of the defense.
Simmons in at tailback. R.W. McQuarters in on 3rd and 7. Tight end wide open. Greg Brown fell down, but he may have enough for the first down at the 41.
He got enough for the first down, but he could have run for a lot longer time because he had an escort out there. Nathan Simmons was out there in front of the play as a lead blocker, and Greg Brown just was not able to keep up. Again, R.W. McQuarters in the game. He clears out. Watch the tight end crossing now. And you can see R.W. McQuarters, again, the respect he gets. He clears out the defense, running through the defense, and that opens up a big hole for the tight end.
I don't blame the guy for falling down. He only caught 6 passes all year. That's 2 in the first half. He's beat. 2 tight ends on 1st and 10. Lindsey back to the air. Not much there. Now the tight end Staggs. Garrett Staggs, first down. Yes, they missed their great tight end, but they're still going to the tight end, and it's working.
I really like this Tony Lindsey. Again, I just like his cool head. I like his poise. He really is patient on this bootleg play. There's a lot of people around the line of scrimmage for Purdue. Watch him suck him in with the play action fake, and watch how patient he is. Waits till he gets out and has an open throw to the tight end. That's just good patience on the perimeter by Tony Lindsey, waiting for his receiver to clear. Get some young quarterbacks, and they feel like they have to force something to happen to try to make plays all the time, and he just doesn't do that. He doesn't force me. He plays very much within himself.
Got the timeout right before the play clock, and it can't blame the freshman. This is the 2nd time this drive that a play has been late coming in. Timeout, OSU.
All right, watch this play because this could be the game. Quarterback drops back and rolls right. Spots a receiver cutting upfield. He drills it. It's complete. Oh, he got nailed. And it looks like they're going to have to measure. Yes, they got it. They got the first. And the fans go wild.
There is a place where Cupid doesn't need to use his arrows, where love is not just in the air, but also in the water of a gently winding river. It's in the music and the food, and certainly in the hearts of the people waiting to welcome you to San Antonio. Give us a call for a free and wonderfully long, long list of the many ways to fall in love here. It's all pure delight. It's all pure romance. And it's all pure San Antonio.
Let's go! Let's go! Let's go!
At National Car Rental, we believe that when it comes to renting a car, there's really only one place to go. Because at most major airports in America, National gets you in your car and on the road fast. So what are you waiting for? Let's go. National Car Rental.
Back in San Antonio, Texas. Less than 5 minutes remaining in the first half. Purdue up by 4 over Oklahoma State. That is Ron Calcagney. He's the quarterback coach for Oklahoma State, and he was talking about Tony Lindsay, how impressed he was. Said, I've coached Andre Ware of a Heisman Trophy, David Klingler a Davey O'Brien Award, and Gus Farad at Tulsa. And this young man, as a freshman, is more poised at this point in his career than those three combined. He's got incredible poise, incredible maturity, plus he's got some awfully quick feet. And Todd Blackledge, I know you were impressed with this young man's maturity.
Yeah, I really like his decision-making and his poise. He really doesn't try to force plays, and that's the best thing he does.
Out of the timeout, they run with Lindsay. He has the first down. Lindsay inside the 10. First and goal, Cowboys. Big block from Josh Henson, springing him.
This is a designed quarterback draw. It's almost actually a quarterback trap. He's got to be patient and let the thing develop, but he does a nice job letting this play open up. Watch the Henson get the trap block. He gets a nice lead by the fullback, Akins, and then on the outside, he gets a nice block by the wide receiver, Willie Grissom. That's just good patience, very good execution on the quarterback draw trap by Tony Lindsay.
R.W. McQuarters comes in the game. He's the one who ran through from the right to the left of the offense on first and goal. Lindsay keeping to the 6. Lamar Conrad. And Willie Burrows in on the tackle.
Lindsay on the key, tackled by Willie Burrows.
Just a pickup of 1. It will be second and goal for Bob Simmons' offense.
Your attention, please. Daniel May. Please call Kathy May. It is urgent.
This offense ranked 10th in the nation in rushing with 226 yards. And this drive has been a long one for OSU.
And as we talked about, one of the ways to defend Purdue is to keep that offense on the sidelines. This is a good clock-eating drive for Oklahoma State.
Toss to Simmons. Not much running room over there on the right side. And face third and goal from the 5.
Again, this is the situation. I said it the last time they were in the red zone. A situation where they really missed their All-American tight end, Alonzo Mays. The backup tight ends have done a pretty nice job, but they just don't have the skill that Alonzo Mays has. At 6'6", 245 pounds, great hands, great leaper. He was just a mismatch against any linebacker or defensive back down around the end zone. And he's a guy they vitally miss in situations like this in scoring territory.
From the 5. Lindsay. Incomplete. Wanted McQuarters. But Mike Hawthorne on the coverage. Field goal time for OSU.
That's strength on strength. McQuarters the best receiver. Hawthorne the best cover guy. And McQuarters just gets a little tripped up trying to come out of his break. The throw a little bit wide by Lindsay, but watch as McQuarters tries to change directions and get out of the break. He gets tripped up a little bit in the end zone.
The field goal attempt will be 22 yards for Tim Sidness. Made one from 34, 12 for 12 inside the 40 this year, including the one earlier tonight. From the tough angle, the sophomore out of Oklahoma City makes it a 1-point game.
And Mike Hawthorne was close to getting that field goal. He was also close on the first field goal. They better shore up that left side of their kick protection because Mike Hawthorne coming very quickly off the corner nearly got that one.
So Oklahoma State's offense not able to get it in the end zone. They get a field goal, and it is 7-6. Well, R.W. McQuarters, he's been on the field for most of the first half of this 97 Builders Square Alamo Bowl.
If they can't get him the ball, throwing it to him, they've got to find other ways. Run him on a reverse, maybe get it to him on a quick screen. Some way to get his hands on the football because he is really dangerous in the open field, whether he's catching a punt or whether he's catching the ball as a receiver or a runner. when he gets out in the open field, he's just got great speed and vision and can make big plays.
He's been on the field about 65 or 70% of the time tonight.
Doesn't look too worse for wear either. The coach has told us he's in outstanding shape, and that they don't have a concern about that with him getting too much work. And plus they said, hey, look, this is our last game. He's got the whole offseason to rest.
And he doesn't have to go to basketball. He's played basketball for OSU the last couple of years, not on Eddie Sutton's team this year. So he can rest up until spring ball after tonight. Speaking of basketball, both schools have big basketball games tonight. OSU is playing at TCU. And as you saw earlier on SportsCenter, 5th-ranked Purdue losing tonight to Michigan State. Short kick. Here's Lee Johnson. He was wrapped up. Should have been brought down. Chris Carter couldn't bring him down. It is Purdue ball. And first down. Well, as we get Purdue's offense on the field, let's go to Pasadena for a moment and check in with Chris Fowler. Chris, what do you have for us?
Well, Mike, a reminder that coming up on the New Dodge halftime report, as Lee and Kirk join me, we'll have a Rose report focusing on Woodson and Leaf, the two dynamic leaders, neither guy planning to back down. Down at the Orange Bowl, there's some concern about the field conditions. If you saw that CarQuest Bowl game, you know what we're talking about. And also a bowl week recap, some interesting tids and trends to look at. That's all at halftime. Mike?
See you guys then. See you guys tomorrow. Looking forward to joining the guys out in Pasadena for our coverage of the Rose Bowl. Our college game day, 10 a.m. New Year's morning. Start the new year with Chris and company. Dick it up top on first down. Step for step with Alford was Kevin Williams. Down to Dr. Jerry Punch.
Guys, it's my pleasure to visit with Marty and Lorraine Bacola. And Marty is the Executive Vice President of Builder Square. Marty, I got to ask you, you got to be so excited. Another great matchup and a huge crowd here for this Alamo Bowl.
We're really excited. This is terrific. I mean, the city of San Antonio is just excited about everybody being here. The impact here has been wonderful.
Where have you seen the most impact from this football game and your involvement for your company?
Well, of course, for our company, it's great to have the exposure. But for the city of San Antonio, $15 million worth of impact is great. And $8 million worth of impact over the last 4 years for higher education is fantastic.
Well, Marty and Lorraine, thanks for joining us. And by the way, happy anniversary, happy 25th.
And if you're an OSU fan having an anniversary, R.W. McQuarters gives you a reason to celebrate there. He intercepts Billy Dicken, and OSU has great field position.
And Mike, not just an oh-by-the-way interception, a layout, extend your body interception, one-on-one against Brian Alford. It's a slant route that's a little bit overthrown, but watch McQuarters find the football and then extend. What a great play by R.W. McQuarters.
He looks like a wide receiver there.
Well, he is a wide receiver. Take a look at that. Gets his arms under the football. Folks, you just can't coach plays like that. That is just a great play by a great player.
Let's see if Oklahoma State can be as opportunistic as Purdue was earlier. They turned an interception on their half of the field into 7 points. Lindsey goes to the air, and Sean Love. He lost the ball. Picked up by Purdue. It's Lee Brush down the sidelines. Touchdown! Flag is down. The Oklahoma State players are saying it's coming back for an illegal block. We'll see how Bill Goss and the SEC crew straighten it out.
After the fumble was recovered on the return, illegal block from behind on the defense. That'll be first and 10.
A little winded there making that call, but this is a crazy kind of play. Let's take a look again as the ball is going to Sean Love. It's a little quick screen. Does he have possession? Yes, he has it, and then loses it. Mike Hawthorne makes the strip, and Lee Brush comes up with the fumble, and boy, turnabout is fair play. 2 big turnovers in a row. Watch again. Does Sean Love have possession of the football? I think he does. I think he has it into his chest and takes a step forward, and then just a good hit up around the chest area by Mike Hawthorne knocks it loose.
Back-to-back snaps with turnovers. Purdue gets it back. Donald Winston. Nice move by Winston. Picked up about 8 yards across midfield.
Dickens' pass complete to Donald Winston.
That's the little bubble screen that has been very popular for Purdue this season. It's a quick throw. You've got 3 receivers on the one side, and you get the ball in the hands. It's almost like a running play out on the side of the field, and it's very important that the other 2 receivers out there become very good blockers. To make that play work, those receivers have to block. That time, a good game for Purdue.
They have time as we move inside of a minute 10, and they have timeouts, 2 of them. Dickens, first down, Vinny Sutherland at the 36-yard line. 5'10" freshman.
Dickens
wrapped up and thrown down.
Vinny Sutherland.
One of the tacklers, Maurice Simpson, number 2. Very confusing. They have 2 number 2s and 2 number 10s on the Oklahoma State team, and they can play as long as they're not on the field at the same time. So Maurice Simpson, who shares the same jersey as Jamal Fobbs, the tailback, that is legit as long as they're not playing at the same time.
Purdue with 2 timeouts left. They've got time to get this ball down in scoring territory for sure.
Dickens looking quick for Donald Winston and incomplete.
Evan Howes is a young corner, and they really think he's going to be an outstanding player, but he needs to learn that he made a good play there. He doesn't have to put his hands up in that surrender pose, because that's going to attract the flag more often than not. He made a good play. Keep those hands down like, yeah, that was no question. That was a good play.
Lee Brush is the opportunistic man picking up the turnover, and let's see if Dickens can add to his offensive numbers. He was 7 of 11 for 128 passing yards in the first half, so not much yet. Isaac Jones with the catch. Pulled down by Billy Stone. Those Dickens numbers that were 7 of 11 in the first quarter. We saw his first half numbers as he takes his second timeout with 35 seconds left. The night of sports right after the football at Sports Center, and after that the championship game of the Rainbow Classic. Take it to Hawaii for hoops, and the Rainbows are the home team, so it should be a great crowd in the Special Events Center against Paul Pierce in Kansas. Pierce had 34 last night in the KU victory over Vanderbilt. Vandy got it to within 1 with 2 minutes left, but Pierce had some key defensive plays. Stepping up without Rafe LaFrance. Rainbow Classic championship game tonight on ESPN.
You know, I know McQuarters made a great interception the last time Purdue had the football, the last time he was lined up against Brian Alford, but I'm not so sure I go right back at that matchup. If they go with man-to-man coverage and no help with McQuarters, I'm not so sure I take another chance with Brian Alford a little bit further down the field and let him use his big body at 6'2" and his height advantage over R.W. McQuarters and try to make a play down around the end zone.
There are not many height mismatches you can take advantage of if you're Purdue. Their receivers are small. Donald Winston, 5'7". Vinny Sutherland, 5'10". Gabe Cox hasn't been heard from much tonight, 5'10". They need to get just to about the 25 for a first down. And Dickens just about there with John Blackman, the tight end. Trent Alexander wrote him out.
Dickens' pass complete to Blackman.
They've used that combination a lot. Again, that's Blackman and Alford on the same side. Alford running the slant route, the tight end on the quick arrow route to the sideline, and the quarterback just reads. Is the inside route there? No. The tight end is late coming in there. It's an easy completion for John Blackman.
The chains are not on that side, so where you see that little piece for the down marker was not exactly the first down. And they're bringing the chains over from the far side to check it out.
This is a really important part of this football game because it's been pretty well played, very evenly played, a 1-point difference, and both teams looking for something to get some momentum to take into halftime with it. Purdue trying to put points on the board. Oklahoma State trying to come up with a big stop, and at worst case scenario, settle for a field goal.
First down, 29 seconds left. Tiller's team has 1 timeout. And they don't have a big leg at kicker, so they need to move it at least another 8 or 10 yards to feel comfy about a field goal. Digging for Alford, and McQuarters was right with him step for step.
And you see RW didn't put his arms up like he surrendered. He knew he made a good play, and he just jumped up and down a couple times like that. That's the way you're supposed to play it. You can't call a penalty on that. Nice play by R.W. McQuarters, getting his right hand on the football. This is a great matchup, him and Brian Alford. Watch him just get his right hand in there. That's a good play. Left hand wasn't even engaged with the back of the receiver. Outstanding play by R.W. McQuarters.
Two-way standout for this team. Really three-way when you consider that he's on all those punt and kick returns.
They've got some confusion right now. All four receivers to the same side.
Back to Alford. They're going to throw it back to Dickens. Incomplete. Terrell Knowles was putting pressure on Alford, who tried to make the throwback after the lateral.
And big Jamal Williams had visions of a touchdown. He actually read the play very well and was in position to make an interception or at least deflect the pass. And he stumbled as the ball was getting to him, but boy, he had visions of 6 points going the other way. Take a look at big number 99 at the bottom of the screen. Watch as he reads this play develop. Really a good read by Jamal. See him roll out of there and watch. He sees a football.
He wants offensive pass interference call there. 3rd and 10 from here. It's a 43-yard field goal. They could use a few yards. Donald Winston, the intended receiver. It will be 4th down.
Good defensive series in the quick turnaround situation by Oklahoma State that time. That's excellent defense, forcing Purdue to settle for a field goal attempt. Again, R.W. McQuarters against Brian Alford on the left side of the defensive formation. R.W. right there. I still think maybe if you run him down the field and throw that football up and let Alford try to make a play, you got a better chance than on the short route.
Shane Ryan's field goal is good. A flag down. Ryan's long of the year, as you saw, was 44. That was a 42-yarder. And he was only 4 of 9 from outside of 30 yards, but hit a true one there. What do you do now if it's on OSU?
I don't think you take any points off the board. You're 4th and 10.
Offside.
Take the points.
On the defense. Penalties decline. Field goal's good.
Well, Joe Tiller keeps the points on the board, and Purdue's lead is 4. Well, in a moment, we'll be talking about a Big Ten team on the New Dodge Halftime Report with Chris Lee and Kirk at the Rose Bowl, Mike Adamle and Sean Salisbury in Miami at the Orange Bowl. Talk about Woodson and Leaf, the Orange Bowl issues, and preview Pitt Southern Miss tomorrow's 3:30 Eastern kick in the Liberty Bowl. And the small Purdue fans don't know that it's been a long wait for a bowl game. So long a wait, she dozed off. What a turnaround for Purdue, for both teams. We've been saying it over and over, but just to give you some perspective, 4 years ago, when some of the 16 seniors were freshmen, this team was 1-10, and they thought they'd be playing in perhaps the Outback Bowl because they finished ahead of Wisconsin, tied for 2nd in the Big Ten standings. However, the Outback Bowl choosing Wisconsin, and the Boilers and their entire university traveling party thrilled to be here.
Yeah. And you know what's really impressive too is you take a look at Joe Tiller. I think a key to their season was the way he handled the team after the opening loss to Toledo. Everybody was wondering, were the coaches going to really get down on them? He kept an even keel. They bounced back and beat Notre Dame, and that was a big difference in the turnaround.
Marks the line drive kickoff is returned to the 40-yard line by Jeremy Hafferty, the backup fullback, going to make a shin stop.
The players weren't really sure how Joe Tiller and the new staff was going to react, and he came in and they just said, hey, look, we did some encouraging things. Let's learn from our mistakes. Let's just keep doing what we're doing, and let's go out and play better next week. And I think his approach to that loss and the response that the team had after that losing situation, instead of the feeling of, oh, here we go again, another bad season at Purdue, they were able to suck it up and get it refocused and then get the huge win against Notre Dame the next week to break an 11-year drought against the Irish.
Probably last play of the half, barring a foul. Lindsey puts it up top. It should have been picked off, but both Brush and Hawthorne were going after it. It falls incomplete. the first half comes to an end. R.W. McQuarters played about 2/3 of this half, 54 plays, but didn't have a huge impact statistically. Had a couple of nice breakups, though, on defense. At the break, Purdue leads by 4. Now the New Dodge halftime report to Pasadena and Chris Fowler.
Mike, thank you. Turnovers the story. All 10 Boilermaker points are off of Cowboy miscues, and also surprisingly good defense. Purdue against the run, Oklahoma State against the pass. You would not have predicted either. Coming up on the New Dodge halftime report, Lee and Kirk will join me. We'll talk about Woodson and Lee. Both have had very sweet-smelling regular seasons, but only one man will have his ultimate football dream fulfilled. We're back at halftime after this.
Considering where you usually drive, which makes more sense? An off-road vehicle or the quintessential on-road vehicle? The all-wheel drive cross-country. Decide for yourself on our website. Serve safely.
Ooh, a computer with the Intel Pentium 2 processor. You know it's fast, and you thought it was priced just out of your reach. Gotcha. Until now. The 1999 PC with the Pentium 2 processor from Gateway. Complete with 32 megs of RAM, 17-inch monitor, AGP graphics, and a whole lot more. Call us at 1-800-GATEWAY and we'll build one for you.
Pizza? Hey, who delivered? Actually, it's not delivery, it's DiGiorno. Oh! Where's it from? I believe I said it's not delivery, it's DiGiorno. Who'd you say delivered? It's not delivery. No! It's DiGiorno.
Oh. DiGiorno Rising Crust Pizza is the frozen pizza with a crust that bakes up fresh like pizzeria pizza.
Fight you for it. Don't make me hurt you.
For fresh baked pizza at home, it's not delivery, it's DiGiorno.
Volvo introduces a welcome alternative to vehicles designed to go off-road. A vehicle designed to stay on it. The all-wheel drive cross-country. Visit our website to learn more about it. Serve safely.
This halftime report is presented by Durango. New ground for the new Dodge.
This was the scene last night. Michigan students got vouchers in Ann Arbor, had to bring them here to Pasadena to exchange them for tickets. It was in the hopes that they might not sell them to scalpers. It didn't work. We had reports a lot of Michigan fans took those tickets, gave them right to folks who are willing to pay $500 per ticket. Return on resell them for $700 to $800. Welcome to our New Dodge halftime report just across from the Rose Bowl. Chris Fowler along with Lee Corso and Kirk Herbstreit. Don't you guys give in to scalpers.
No, we won't.
Hold on to those tickets. We need you there.
No way.
The big story, of course, is the defense of Michigan, one of the dominant defenses of the decade against the Washington State offense, the most prolific in the history of the Pac-10. Now, the two linchpins, Charles Woodson and Ryan Leaf. As Mark Schwartz reports, they have kind of struck a friendly but uneasy truce this week.
Charles Woodson and Ryan Leaf have become fast friends, maybe because each sees so much of himself in the other. The swagger, the edge, the star quality that makes this the most eagerly awaited individual matchup in recent bowl history, and among the least predictable.
I'd like to have him never throw a ball at him, but I know Ryan will. I'm just accepting the fact that he's going to do it. That's the kind of guy he is, you know.
You know, all year long, he said, you know, don't throw somebody's way, don't throw somebody's way. That just kind of fuels my fire.
And knowing that Leaf won't back down certainly fuels Woodson's.
Oh, yeah, why not? That's what I play for.
Well, I don't know how smart you are to just keep attacking. You know, at some point, we have to say, Ryan, knock that off. But knowing Ryan, which is in a positive way, why would you want to take that away from him?
So many quarterbacks, though, fear him. So many coaches fear him. How do you avoid falling into that?
I don't know where people think. Well, how can you fear somebody? I mean, that means you're not a very good competitor.
I would think, you know, 80% of the time or 85% of the time, I'd like to see him throwing someplace else.
And if he throws my way, hopefully I can come up with a couple of interceptions.
DJ Dobbins attempted to impersonate Woodson on the Cougars scout team. And while he couldn't duplicate Woodson's athleticism, he did offer the appropriate ambiance.
So you really think you're going to catch the ball, don't you? Well, I don't think so. So go back to the huddle and tell the quarterback to think of another audible because you're not getting the ball.
You have that much time to say that much?
Yeah. I can do whatever I want to. I'm Charles Woodson.
Except no imitations.
It won't give them the look they're looking for, I'll tell you that.
Not the look or the smack tuck either. Dobbins has to work on that. He didn't quite have that down.
Still young.
I'll tell you what, one benefit of Ryan Leaf trying to keep his defense from having to see Charles Woodson on offense is the more Wazoo can possess the football, the more Woodson has to play defense, the less he can play on offense, because he's not Superman. I mean, he may be as close as you get in human form, but he has to rest sometimes.
Well, the offensive game plan for Washington State is very simple. They're going to put 4 receivers out, and if Michigan keeps 7 men in a box, they're going to throw the ball out to those receivers. If Michigan leaves 6 in the box, they're going to hand the ball to Michael Black. It's very simple. So Ryan Leaf has an opportunity in this ball game not only to win the ball game with his arm, but with his mind. And another factor, I don't think noise will be a factor out there, because I think it's a 50-50 switch, right? So therefore, the noise will not keep Washington State from using that good automatic system.
Yeah, they're going to use audibles all day long. I think the key for Michigan's defense is very clear. Put pressure on Ryan Leaf. They're going to use a variety of blitzes. And yes, even Charles Woodson and that nickel package over the slot receiver will come on the blitz. The other thing, Michigan does a nice job disguising coverages. They're going to be in a nickel package, sometimes straight up man, other times zone behind it. Watch how they take advantage of an offensive line and the receivers by trying to confuse them as much as possible.
That's the most talked about matchup. What about some other things? You haven't mentioned kicking game yet, Lee. You always talk to me about the kicking game. Obviously, Woodson's punt return against Ohio State was a big play, and Wazoo's been a little bit vulnerable. They've given up a punt return for a touchdown, Troy Walters, also a kickoff return, R.J. Sowers. So.
Well, everybody's talking about Charles Woodson going up against Ryan Leaf, and that's obvious that that's going to be a key in the football game. To me, when Michigan has the football, keep a very close eye on 1st and 10. Their average throughout the whole year was close to 6 yards per first down. If they come to close to that average and getting 6 yards, that puts them in 2nd and 3rd and short. That's when their offense will flourish and eat the clock. If they're unable to get that average, they're in trouble, because their offense is not very productive. It's 2nd and 3rd and long. So watch them on 1st and 10.
Okay, I think the key to the game is going to be Washington State sitting there and Michigan trying to come at them with 4 men. If they don't get them with 4, they're going to send 5 or 6, and if they do that, Katie bar the door, it's all over, because those Fab Fives will be one-on-one on receivers, and Leaf will hit them. So the key to this ball game will be this. If Michigan get to Leaf with 4 men, they win the game. If they send more than 4, it's all over. Washington State wins it.
They're going to be bringing a lot more than 4 all day.
Okay, we'll see.
And don't forget the basics, too. Just execution under pressure, in emotion, dealing with this kind of game. Players who played in the Rose Bowl say it's unlike anything else they have ever experienced. You could almost say the same for the Orange Bowl. In the case of this year, Nebraska trying to cap a perfect season. Tennessee, if they get help from Washington State, perhaps in a position to win a national championship if they can beat the Huskers. We head down to Miami for an Orange Bowl report now, and Mike Adamle. Mike?
All right, thanks, Chris. It was media day here at Pro Player Stadium in Miami, but as game time draws closer, we focus in on one of the key matchups of this year's Orange Bowl. Tennessee's experienced wide receivers versus Nebraska's inexperienced secondary, very, very young. Now, Marcus Nash and Peerless Price and Jermaine Copeland don't have a catchy nickname like Washington State's Fab Five. What they do have is great belief in their big play capability.
I'm going into the game real confident because I've been wanting to play Nebraska ever since I was little. You know, they've always been a big name team, so you know, I finally get my chance to be here and play against them. I'm going into the game real confident, and I think we can probably pick them apart if our line holds them out.
We figure they're going to try to take advantage of us. You know, I would say that our secondary is probably the weakest point in our defense, but I think we'll be able to come out and you know, do the things that we want to do, and I think we'll do all right.
Joined once again by Sean Salisbury. And Sean, clearly that Tennessee trio, the best set of receivers that Nebraska has faced all year, but they're going to need to live up to their lofty reputations.
Yeah, they are, Mike. And a great part of the game, they're going to spend time playing in-your-face press, man coverage, forcing Tennessee to make plays on the outside. The Tennessee receivers have got to get off the line of scrimmage, as you see Marcus Nash do here, and get separation so Manning can get the ball out of his hand, stay away from the hit, and create big plays, which they'll need. They're also, in order to neutralize the pass rush of Nebraska, got to get the ball out of his hand quick on hitches and slants, as the one here to Peerless Price, and stay out of long yarded situations so that rush can't get to him.
So that will eliminate pass coverage kind of sacks, and also they need to be very successful on first down.
First down is huge in this game, not only via the pass, but the run game. They need to find a way to let Jamal Lewis get 4 or 5 yards a carry, because if it is 2nd and 10, 3rd and 8, long yarded situation, Nebraska tees off, they will embarrass Tennessee, and this will turn into a major blowout.
Against other marquee name quarterbacks, well, they solved Washington by knocking Brock Heward out of the game, but against Central Florida's Dante Culpepper, he lit them up for 318 yards. yards. Nebraska ranked 32nd in pass defense. That's the story for now from Miami. Back to you at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena. Chris?
Mike, good point. We showed you the stats all week long about how Central Florida, Colorado, Missouri have gotten big pass yards on Nebraska this season. I think if there's a difference between Nebraska's national championship defenses, 94, 95, maybe the DBs aren't quite up to that level this year.
You're right about that. I think all year long this has been a problem for Nebraska. I think with Peyton Manning's knee, a little bit of a problem. Don't be surprised to see Nebraska get uptight on their wide receivers to avoid those quick three-step drops that Sean just talked about. And by doing that, they're going to leave themselves a little bit vulnerable. If they don't get to Peyton Manning, I guarantee you that Peerless Price, Marcus Nash, Andy McCullough, Jermaine Copeland, those 4 wide receivers all have the speed to beat those Nebraska defensive backs.
You're absolutely 200% right. But they're going to get to Manning because Manning's bad leg, when he goes back, is his plant leg. And if his plant leg is not set, they're going to come after him. But watch Nebraska to do another thing. They're going to come after Manning to try to get to him, but they're going to play zone in the secondary like the pros do. You know why? Because those backs can't cover my friend's receivers. And that's why, watch them, blitz with zone, just like the National Football League
does. Look out for
does.
31 coming up.
That's right.
Well, Jamal Lewis is a key. They've had a full month to look at Nebraska's film. Steve Spurrier spent some time with Philip Fulmer trying to explain what he did wrong when he played against the Cornhuskers back in the Fiesta Bowl. We'll have to see if that pays off. Hey, another factor in this game, and you noticed this last night, Kirk, watching the CarQuest Bowl game between Georgia Tech and West Virginia, played on that same field at Pro Player Stadium. Had a lot of rain in Miami the last week, and the footing was simply not good. Players slipping down. You see the defenders slipped for Georgia Tech, allowing a West Virginia touchdown, and the field, which is a PAT, prescription turf, chewed up a little bit. Part of that's a function of the weather down there. They had media day, so all those riders running around that field.
There's some heavy riders out there, too, now. take some big implementations there. I think, obviously, this field is going to favor the team that can control the line of scrimmage, which means you have to think that would be Nebraska. But keep in mind also, when the quarterback drops back to pass, his wide receivers know exactly where he's going to go on his route. The defensive backs have to react to that. A lot of times they slip up. So watch that, both things, line of scrimmage and also the quarterbacks throwing the ball.
Also very important, wet field, right-footed quarterbacks come back with that right foot. Manning, right? It's his plant foot. Watch it. If it slips, he's going to have problems. And then another thing, Nebraska doesn't care. They play on a sand lot. They're going to run right at them, and they don't care if it's on grass, stone, anything, sand. They're going to run right at them.
You're going to give me the grass thing again. You said that was going to be a problem for Nebraska, like it was before the Fiesta Bowl. They did play on Missouri. Had trouble in that game on grass, although the offense scored a bunch of points. Let's hope the groundskeepers work in that thing. We don't get rain, and it isn't a factor down there on Friday. At halftime, Builders Square Alamo Bowl. Who else for Purdue? Dickin to Alford. That's the only touchdown of the first half. It's Boilermakers 10-6.
The new Dodge wanted to take the sport utility concept to a higher level. Enter the new Durango. Its best-in-class power, cargo space, and seating for up to 8 raise the bar considerably, as do its strongest-in-class frame and its stable, longer, wider stance. Dodge Durango, a higher form of sport utility, from top to bottom. Durango, new ground for the new Dodge.
All right, watch this play because this could be the game. The quarterback drops back and rolls right. Spots a receiver cutting upfield. He drills it. It's complete. Oh, he got nailed. And it looks like they're going to have to measure. Yes, they got it. They got the first. And the fans go wild.
I believe everyone deserves to be treated with kindness, consideration, and respect. Except for those long-distance companies that call every minute and a half trying to get me to switch. Strings would come in here. I just want one phone bill. And that's why I think GTE is such a good value. GTE is my local phone company, and GTE is my long-distance company, which means one stamp, one check, and one less paper cut I have to deal with. Simplicity is a value. Well, what do you think?
From the worldwide leader in sports, this is the ESPN News Network.
Hi,
Hi there, and welcome back to the ESPN News Network. I'm Michael Kim along with Trey Wingo. We'll get you back to the second half of the Alamo Bowl in just a minute. But first, some NBA news.
And a pretty good team in the NBA, and they've been that way for a while. You know, sometimes the best ideas are the ones you don't have. Monday night, Mavericks head coach Don Nelson came up with a beauty against Chicago. Have rookie Bubba Wells foul Dennis Rodman as much and as quickly as possible. The thinking was it would send Rodman to the line where he's weak, keep the ball out of Michael Jordan's hands, and then keep the Mavs in the game. The result? Wells fouled out in an NBA record 3 minutes. Rodman went 9 of 12 from the line, and Jordan had 41 points in the Bulls' 8th straight win. In theory, it sounded good. So what would Flip Saunders have up his sleeve tonight as the T-Wolves hosted the Bulls in Minnesota? Rodman came into this game averaging over 20 boards a game, and, well, when you got Michael Jordan, rebounds aren't really a necessity because he hits everything. Ball off the back of the rim. Then Jordan from way outside, call it a tray. Pulls up 5. Michael focused. Minutes later, Chris Carr, the air spheroid. What was that former Saluki thinking? Dennis Rodman dribbling. What is he thinking? Gives it to Ron Harper, who knows what he's doing, slams it down. Second quarter, Bulls up by 6. Steve Kerr with the pocket pick and the lay-in. Bulls up 56-47 at the half, and we update you. And look at this, the Wolves are staging a comeback. It's only a 2-point game, 72-70. This would be interesting because Chicago comes in with 8 straight wins. Minnesota has never beaten the Bulls. They are 0-16 lifetime, but right now they are within a deuce. Nets, Pacers, Market Square Arena, early first. Dale Davis goes up for a rebound and comes down awkwardly on his ankle. Davis in obvious pain and had to be helped off the court. Third quarter now, Mark Jackson with the touchdown pass to Chris Mullen with the great basketball pass to Reggie Miller for the lay-in. Pacers up 53-48. Larry Bird saying, you know, I used to play like that. Later in the quarter, Jackson with the great look to Reggie Miller and the better acrobatic move by Reggie. Pacers up 12. More Miller. It's Miller time. He drains the three-pointer, and Reggie happy because the Pacers go on to win the final of 109-90. It's Indiana's 9th straight home win. They shot 61 from the floor. Unselfish basketball, 40 assists for the Pacers. Miller and Mullen both had 23 points in the win.
One other score, Knicks and Magic. And Heat Cavalier right now, 90-78. That is your final as the Heat beat the Cavaliers. And Tim Hardaway led all scores with 29 points. Miami has won 5 of its last 6 games. Cleveland has lost 6 straight to the Heat. Stay with us. The ESPN News Network continues right after this.
The event that rocks Ohio is happening now at Courtesy Auto Mall. For the entire year of 1998, pay just $98 a month on your choice of new 98 Neon or new Dakota. Yes, $98 a month. And at Courtesy, your manufacturer's scheduled maintenance is free. Save now during the year-end clearance sale at Courtesy Auto Mall, Route 39, Shelby.
Always drive with Courtesy. Chrysler, Plymouth, Dodge.
Med Central Health System, the largest medical community in north central Ohio, created by and for area residents to improve your health. Crestline, Mansfield, and Shelby hospitals working together, providing the highest levels of service right here at home. Yet, this is only the beginning. Med Central plans many more ways to serve you, your family, and our community.
Med Central, a new generation of healthcare.
Purdue University. Step into a future with unlimited potential, a future where professors care about your success. Students learn cutting-edge knowledge from professors who are blazing the research trail. Choose among hundreds of majors that will prepare you for any career you can imagine. Head down the track to a world-class education. Hook up with Purdue University.
Week continues on New Year's morning following game day. It's the Outback Bowl. Ron Dane, the biggin. Really, truly healthy for the first time this year. And Mike Bobo, those 12 senior starters for Georgia. That is 11 a.m. Eastern time. Now, the second to last game of Bowl week will be tomorrow afternoon. It's the AXA Equitable Liberty Bowl. Pittsburgh breaking that 0 for the 90s bowl drought against Southern Miss, a team that ranked number 11 in pass defense, even though they played 3 pass offenses that were in the top 10. Nevada, Tennessee, Louisville, not to mention Florida, which they held in check. Rich Waltz and Rod Gilmore have a preview from Memphis. Guys?
Thanks, Chris. We're atop the Peabody Hotel in historic Memphis. This is Tom Cruise's perch from the firm. Rich Waltz, Rod Gilmore, the Liberty Bowl festivities underway, the bands and the parade right down below us. Let's talk about this football game, Rod. 2 teams with very different paths here. Southern Miss thought they should have been here last year. Pittsburgh is just happy to be here.
Well, Southern Miss was 8-3 last season, thought they deserved a bowl bid, didn't get it. They come back this year 8-3, and they get to the bowl. Pitt, on the other hand, 4-7 last season. They hire a new coach. They were 4-5, and then they won 2 big games over Virginia Tech and West Virginia to get here.
2 very different situations at quarterback. A guy that sat on the bench for 4 years for Pittsburgh, Pete Gonzalez, has really shined this year.
Oh, Pete Gonzalez is a great story. A guy who didn't play for a long time, got a chance to start, and all of a sudden, what's he do? 30 touchdown passes, only 7 interceptions. On the other hand, Lee Roberts of Southern Miss has started for a long time. But hey, they had to help him out and get a better running game. They did that, and he completed 55% of his passes.
Southern Miss, a chip on their shoulder. They like national respect. Pittsburgh, the Cinderellas of the Big East. The parade going by, underdogs should be coming by shortly. For Rod Gilmore, Rich Waltz, Chris, back to you.
All right, you guys, and that's the hotel that has the Ducks, so be careful. Hey, top bowl performances so far. Rondell Mealy was the world's best third-string back because of injuries. He steps in, runs for 222 against the Irish. Rashawn Sheehy coming back from 3 games when he was injured and had a monster bowl game for Washington. Top receivers, Randy Moss, although he did have the fumble at the end of the game that gave Ole Miss the victory, and Pat Johnson for Oregon. He just torched Air Force. Quarterbacks, Chad Pennington, gutsy and tough in defeat for Marshall. Stuart Patridge had a big ball game against Marshall, and Mark Bulger for West Virginia last night was tough. As far as bowl trends, guys, we're still looking for the first upset. All 9 favorites won. All 9 games won by the team that scored the first touchdown. If you scored any points first, you won 8 out of 9. So.
Well, and the fun thing to do each bowl season is to look at the conferences and what's going to happen. And we've already made some bold predictions. And the way I look at the Big 12 and the Big 10, I think collectively they're going to go 4-8, with the Big 12 going 1-4, the Big 10 going 3-4. And contrastly, the Pac-10 and the SEC 9-3, I think, combined, with the Pac-10 4-2, and the SEC once again, I think, going to dominate this bowl season at 5-1.
I agree. They play the best football of anybody in the SEC. And you guys mark this down. This is interesting. You're going to see something this rare this week as Haley's Comet. Look at this. You won't believe this. The 4 top active coaches in the country are coaching against each other on back-to-back dates in the same state. Look at that. Paterno and Spurrier in the Citrus Bowl in beautiful downtown Orlando. And Osborne and Fulmer in the Orange Bowl. Is that amazing? You'll never see that again. That's unbelievable.
Haley's Comet will even come around more frequently than that will happen again later.
All right.
Good work with the calculator this afternoon.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
At halftime, it is Purdue leading Oklahoma State. R.W. McQuarters for the Cowboys held in check on offense. He had 1 catch, but did have this diving interception, one of 54 plays he was involved in the first half.
Welcome back to National Car Rental's presentation of ESPN Bowl Week.
Set to kick off the 3rd quarter of the 1997 Builders Square Alamo Bowl. 1 touchdown by Purdue, 3 field goals, 2 for the Cowboys, 1 for the Boilermakers. It's Purdue by 4 at the break. Dr. Jerry Punch on the sidelines, Mike Tirico, Todd Blackledge. We talked about R.W. McQuarters coming in and said he could really be a big impact offensive player tonight. Maybe the better job for him done on defense in the first half.
Yeah, we also said maybe he let down a little bit on defense through the year. Not tonight. He has played outstanding football on the defensive side. Now, he wanted to establish early on when Brian Alford came to the left side of the defense, he was going to have his hands full with R.W. McQuarters. And every time Alford tried to get off the line of scrimmage, McQuarters right there really focused in very well. Here, the great diving interception in the 2nd quarter on offense. This was his only catch of the ball game, good for 9 yards. They need to try to get him the ball more in the 2nd half. They tried to go to him for a touchdown in the end zone, couldn't get to this Tony Lindsay pass.
Todd, of the 70 total plays in the first half, 12 on offense and just the 1 reception. On defense, 36 plays, most of the snaps, 3 pass breakups in there as well, and then 7 kick return situations, although he didn't make a return. About 77% of the plays in the first half. McQuarters on the field. To the field, and let's check in with Dr. Jerry Punch.
Guys, at halftime, talked to both coaches. First, Oklahoma State's Bob Simmons, concerned about the fact that his offense was out of sync. He said, you know, the turnovers hurt us. If it wasn't for our defense playing so well, we should be down by 14 right now instead of 4. So we've got to come out in the second half, get the football, and establish the run. We've got to do what we do best. Now, across the field, Joe Tiller talked to his defense about, hey, guys, let's get physical. We got to be physical. We got to go after the football. We got to get turnovers. And regarding his offense, he said, well, guys, we have got to be able to maybe try to run the football. But if they put so many men in the line of scrimmage and we can't run it, then we'll just back up and toss it. But we'd like to be able to establish the run. Back upstairs.
Doc, thank you. It's a Purdue offense that scored 33 per game and only put up 10 in the first half. There is R.W. McQuarters, set for the second half kickoff, but he won't touch it. Knocked nearly out of the end zone by Chris Arntz, the senior out of California. OSU drive start at their own 20. Here are the numbers from the first half that McQuarters contributed to in every column. Purdue with 203 yards of total offense, only twice this year, where the Boilermakers held under 400 yards in a game, each team turning it over twice.
As Dr. Jerry Punch told us about Bob Simmons telling his team they've got to run the football, only 65 yards in that first half, well below their season average of 226 yards a game. They were the 10th best rushing team in the country coming into tonight.
Nathan Simmons is the starting tailback for this half, and he cuts it back to the left with no place to go. Roosevelt Colvin, the junior out of Indianapolis, who had 10 sacks this year, was there for the stop.
Roosevelt Colvin, the best player along that defensive front. He's a very athletic guy. He's listed at 6'3", 245, really probably only about 230, 235 pounds, but does a nice job using leverage, keeping the defender away from his body, and then falling off to make the tackle.
He had 19 tackles for loss this season, but at 245 pounds, one of the questions with Roosevelt, how much can he hang in there as games wear on? Chasing down Lindsey this time. Got him! Fumbled the football. Recovered by OSU's right guard, Adam Davis. Well, he's 245, but he's got speed.
Yes, he does, and he did a great job not giving up on this play and chasing Tony Lindsey down from the backside. Tony Lindsey, as we've seen in the first half, has excellent speed. Take a look at Colvin chasing the play. First, he makes sure that it's not coming out to his side, and then just great pursuit, and then the Lawrence Taylor move to strip down with the right hand against the throwing arm. Watch the quick pursuit, and again, the strip down with the right arm. That's the move that Lawrence Taylor made famous, and everybody that chases a quarterback now tries to employ it. Good job by Roosevelt Colvin.
Well, Davis, who recovered the fumble, was the man who Colvin got past. 3rd and 14. They need to get to the 30 to keep the drive alive. Pressure from Rose was picked up, intercepted again by Beasley. Adrian Beasley's second interception. Adrian Beasley down the sidelines to the 6-yard line.
The exact same problem for Tony Lindsey as his last interception, trying to throw the ball down the middle to the tight end with a free safety hanging in the middle and the ball in the air way too long. You just can't throw the ball to the tight end. Here's Beasley right here. Watch him just read the quarterback. As that ball tries to come to the tight end, you just can't loft the ball down the middle of the field when there's a free safety there. He's going for his tight end, Garrett Staggs. Adrian Beasley, an easy interception for Purdue.
Purdue, an excellent red zone offense team. Edwin Watson to the 2. It will be 2nd and goal. Kenyatta Wright helped stop the touchdown.
When you're throwing down the middle of the field, you have to put this throw on a rope. The tight end, there is a seam there, but you can't put this much air under it going to the tight end. Clearly overthrew Garrett Staggs, and an easy interception for Beasley.
2 picks tonight. Gabe Cox out to the left. They're going to keep it on the ground. Great tackle by Kenyatta Wright, stuffing Ed Watson.
Boy, you're not kidding. What a great tackle. That is high-impact collision right there. Kenyatta Wright at 232 pounds against Ed Watson at 225 pounds. Watch number 7 fill this hole. Wow. That's good work by your middle linebacker. Again, the lack of a fullback in this offense, there's no lead back for Ed Watson.
Dick in keeping, second effort, touchdown! Flag thrown in the end zone.
Yeah, there's a flag down because Alford and R.W. McQuarters got into a little pushing match again on the outside. If this goes against Brian Alford, it's going to negate the touchdown by Purdue.
Wow.
Unless it was after the play, it could be a dead ball penalty and not affect the touchdown. This will be interesting to see.
SEC officials.
There's a touchdown.
Yeah.
After the score, personal foul, dead ball foul on the offense. It's a 15-yard penalty on the extra point.
It was a similar exchange to what happened in the very first series for Purdue. Just a little physical exchange. It was just a matter of when the referee was going to look up, because he could have called it on either McQuarters or Alford. He just happened to see the last shot by Brian Alford.
So it is a touchdown, and with the lead 10, this becomes now a 35-yard extra point for Shane Ryan. And he missed it. Make a mental note of that. The lead is 10 instead of 11. The second effort touchdown keeper by Billy Dicken. Our second touchdown of the game. And the senior puts Purdue up by double digits.
All right, watch this play because this could be the game. The quarterback drops back and rolls right. Spots a receiver cutting upfield. He drills it. It's complete. Oh, he got nailed. And it looks like they're going to have to measure. Yes, they got it. They got the first. And the fans go wild.
It's all about flavors of foods and places and people. It's about textures and shapes and sights and sounds. It's San Antonio. One place where many cultures somehow weave themselves together into a rich, vibrant tapestry with beguiling grace and charm. Give us a call and we'll send you a wealth of free information. Then come and discover it is magic. It is extraordinary and it's pure San Antonio.
You like the way you feel when you get what you need, like the key to your heart, like a break in the weather. You deserve someone who's always there at your service. Quality care.
Quality Care Service from Ford and Lincoln Mercury dealers.
Builder Square Alamo Bowl is presented by Builder Square, Heckinger, and Home Quarters, and in part by Quality Care Service at your Ford and Lincoln Mercury dealers.
The Purdue Boilermakers lead by 10. Yeah, it's easy to go without your shirt when you're indoors here at the Alamo Dome in San Antonio.
Again, that opportunistic defense of Purdue. I mean, they have not been a great defense statistically in terms of stopping people for low yardage amounts, but they have forced a lot of turnovers, and then they take advantage of it.
This one will be held under wraps by Kevin Williams, and Oklahoma State will get the ball to 20.
Well, one guy who certainly came out of the locker room ready to play that last series was Roosevelt Colvin, the junior defensive end. Here he stops Nathan Simmons on the running play on first down. And then on second down, watch him pursue Tony Lindsay from the backside on this bootleg. Not only get to the quarterback, but knock the ball loose, causing a fumble. Oklahoma State would recover but set up that third down and long situation that led to the interception.
New quarterback, Chris Halupka, hands it off to Jamal Fobbs. Gains 5 across the 25. Leo Perez, the senior, in on the tackle. Well, Chris Halupka started the first 2 games this year. There you see his numbers. And Todd, I guess we could easily say, to categorize him, he's the better passer, pure passer of the 2 quarterbacks.
Yeah, and he was bothered for most of the year. He had a broken left hand, had kind of a big wrap, a soft cast on it for most of the year, and he's totally healed now. He's handling the ball a lot better, and I'm sure he's excited to be in there for this opportunity.
Incomplete for Garrett Steggs, the tight end. It will be third down. Halupka is a Texan, sophomore at 6'2", 218 pounds. He's one of the 20 Texans on the Oklahoma State roster.
When I talked to Ron Calcagni yesterday at practice, he didn't think that Halupka was going to get in the ball game tonight. He was pretty confident that Tony Lindsay would go the whole way, but we mentioned how Lindsay had been so good at making good decisions. 2 bad decisions, throwing the ball late down the middle for interceptions, and therefore we see Halupka now.
They've been struggling on third down, flag down. Akins, the fullback, has the first down. Spinning move. He is a load to bring down. Beasley finally spills them, but let's check the laundry.
Complete to Brian Akins, flag on the play.
18-yard pickup for Brian Akins, the junior from New Jersey. Will it stand up? Apparently so.
Offside, defense, finish the plan, first down.
Well, Akins caught just 2 balls all year, but when he gets going north and south.
That's why he was so wide open, because he only caught 2 balls. Nobody covered him. Watch him come out of the backfield. He's in the slot. You see, nobody covers him. Mike Rose, number 4, runs right by him. They say they're not going to throw the fullback. Oh, yes, they will.
Bob's the tailback back in. Another flag down. Colvin in on the tackle. And we'll check this mark.
Jamal Fobbs on the carry. Flag on the
Oklahoma State did not commit a penalty in the first half. It was 5 on the Boilermakers. And they add to that total here.
Offsides, defense, finish 5 yards, first down.
Let me correct that. OSU had 1 5-yard penalty in the first half, but now 2 back-to-back 5-yard penalties from the Boilermaker team.
That third down conversion was a big play for Chris Halupka because it gave him some confidence. He's got his team out around the 50-yard line, and if he can drive his team down and get some points, this will be a big boost for the Oklahoma State Cowboys.
On 1st and 5, Halupka's nearly intercepted. Doug Withers, the sophomore from South Pasadena, California, was dreaming about an INT.
Zone defense. That's just a good zone drop by the inside linebacker, Doug Withers, and gets right into the pass zone. Here's Withers right here. Watch him just read the quarterback and drop into coverage and just get his hands on the football. That's just a nice job by Doug Withers, reading the eyes of the quarterback. The intended receiver, Sean Love, going across the middle. But a good play by the linebacker from Purdue.
Fobbs is the tailback on 2nd and 5 and gets the delay. Jamal Fobbs with some space. First down across the 48-yard line. Mike Hawthorne up from his cornerback spot. 11 pulls down 2.
That's the difference between Nathan Simmons and Jamal Fobbs. Simmons more the physical runner. Fobbs more the scat back guy that can make people miss. He did a lot on this run. Watch, the play's designed to go to the right side of the offensive formation. Makes a good cut here and comes all the way back across the field. Nice job by Sean Love there at the end of the play, knowing he couldn't get a clean block, pulling off and allowing Fobbs to go by himself and get the first down.
1st and 10, OSU into Purdue territory. And here is Fobbs again. First down and more. To the 36-yard line. A pickup of 12.
This is what Bob Simmons wanted to see from his football team coming out of the locker room. They didn't get it on their first possession, but they are getting a better push up front and running the football. Let's watch that offensive line come off. Great block by the left tackle, David Camacho. Josh Henson, the left guard, get a good push on the left side. That's good work up front. Everybody gets involved in the blocking game here. Here's Sean Love going against a strong safety, Lee Brush. He's also integral in that play being successful.
Two tight ends. Haluka to one of them. Greg Brown. Beasley makes the stop at the 20. They pick up 15 yards. It's 1st and 10 again for OSU.
See the difference, though? Thrown to that tight end down the middle. You got to put some steam on that ball. You can't loft it in the middle of the field when you're throwing down the middle of the tight end. That was a good job by Haluka, putting a little zip on that ball, getting it to his tight end quickly.
Oklahoma State down 10. One of their best offensive drives of the night. Jamal Fobbs into the end zone, touchdown!
There were 3 great blocks on this play. It was the counter trap. The left tackle and the left guard are going to pull. Watch Josh Henson, 62. David Camacho, 75. And watch Sean Love at the top of the screen. The wide receiver got a block on Mike Hawthorne, and that allowed Fobbs to get it to the end zone.
Sidness on for the extra point. The lead is 3. Jamal Fobbs, an outstanding freshman who has some great cutting ability. He ran for 3 touchdowns this year. This touchdown has made the Builders Square Alamo Bowl a 3-point game.
What the hell was that? It's a cruise ship.
On January 30th, it's like everyone just vanished. The ocean's greatest mystery.
There's something down here.
Will come to the surface.
I vote we leave. Who votes we leave?
Rated R. Starts Friday, January 30th.
You like the way you feel when you get what you need. Like the key to your heart. Like a break in the weather. You deserve someone who's always there. At your service, quality care.
Quality Care Service. From Ford and Lincoln Mercury dealers.
Tune into the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl on ESPN.
National Car Rental Bowl Week continues as Clemson battles Auburn in the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. Clemson-Auburn, Friday at 3 on ESPN.
More Oklahoma State fans in the crowd of 55,552 here in San Antonio, and they have reason to cheer. Jamal Fobbs on the ground, some key runs on that touchdown drive. They changed quarterbacks, and it works. A 3-point game. Chris Boston tackled just across the 20 and about the 22-yard line. Billy Dicken in the offense back on the field.
We'll take a look at Billy Dicken in the first half. Oklahoma State wanted to try to get to him, hit him, knock him around, knock him on the ground. They were able to put pretty good pressure on him, but he hung in there. Here's the touchdown to Brian Alford. Does a great job throwing under pressure. And then the interception by Kevin Williams. He kind of baited him. Kevin Williams looking right at Brian Alford, even though he's got coverage on the outside. He's reading the eyes of Billy Dicken and slips in to make the interception. So for Billy Dicken, some good, some bad for the quarterback, the senior for Purdue.
Drive start at the 22, and Watson runs for 3. It'll be 2nd and 7. Dr. Jerry Punch for more on Billy Dicken.
Guys, at halftime, Purdue head trainer Denny Miller was working on Billy Dickens, as was Don Shelburne, who's the head team physician for the Indianapolis Colts, here with Purdue at this bowl game today. Now, Dickens was hurt in the first half. He doesn't know when, but his throwing shoulder, the back of his shoulder, that's the same shoulder he had operated on when he was a redshirt freshman for dislocation. They put some ice on it, they massaged it, but he has yet to throw the football in the second half.
There you see the hits that he took throughout that opening half. On 2nd and 8, here's his first pass, and Watson has a lot of room, and Watson down the sidelines. Caught from behind at the 16. What a big gain. 60 yards worth, or rather 50 yards worth.
Boy, Purdue caught Oklahoma State in the perfect setup here. Oklahoma State has got everybody around the line of scrimmage. There's nobody deep, and so as soon as this ball is gone, watch when Watson gets it. There's no orange shirts downfield. He breaks one tackle. He gets a block from Isaac Jones. That's all he needed. And then he shows you the speed down the sideline. The perfect call at the perfect time against that Oklahoma State defense.
Great blocking from those receivers. 1st and 10. They flip the field on OSU into the red zone. Vinny Sutherland has great speed. Vinny Sutherland, touchdown! The flag is in the end zone and probably celebration.
One of the ways you counter an aggressive defense is misdirection, like a reverse.
After the score, dead ball foul, personal foul on the defense. It was half the distance to the goal line on the try for point.
2 great calls in a row by Joe Tiller and his staff. First with the bubble screen, and then back it up with the reverse against that aggressive defense.
Leading by 9, Purdue will go for 1, even though the try comes from 1.5 yards closer. Extra point is good by Shane Ryan. Boilermakers lead by 10 after the speedy freshman from West Palm Beach, Florida, Vinny Sutherland, runs it in the 2nd time he's done that this year.
Watch the defense react to the fake to Watson. Everybody's running with Watson. They don't pick up Sutherland. A great block by Chucky Jacoby. And then on the outside, Brian Alford with another key block downfield to get Sutherland to the end zone. The block by Jacoby in the guard position. And then watch Alford downfield as he turns and gets Kevin Williams pinned to the inside. And Sutherland goes to the corner of the end zone. Good play, good block by Brian Alford.
Sutherland, some consider one of the speediest and most exciting players in Purdue's recent history. Big time speed, 10, 30, 100 meters type guy in his high school track days, and he could be down the line a Tim Dwight type of player for Purdue.
And he's also talked about his desire to play on both sides of the ball, maybe getting involved playing in defense. He already returns kicks. An exciting speed guy for Purdue.
That's nice to see some guy who wants to go from offense to defense.
You know, and how about the response and the resiliency of Purdue after that good drive by Oklahoma State where they run the football right down at them and get it in the end zone to draw back within 4, and an immediate response by Purdue on 2 huge plays.
He is a bundle of electricity. You can see it on the sidelines, 5'10". Arch's kickoffs have been great tonight. Been tough to return, but this one will come back from Dante Hill. Does not get to the 20. Purdue having to cover a kick. Covers it well. Well, how about your New Year's Eve plans? How about New Year's Eve on ice, the night on Frozen Pond? National Hockey Night. Brett Hull is injured, but Grant Fuhr having a fine season for St. Louis, taking on Detroit. Of course, led by Steve Yzerman. 97 will be a year Red Wings fans always remember. They won the Stanley Cup, and Brendan Shanahan hopes to keep them in contention again this year. Shanny tied for the NHL lead with 9 power play goals. You'll see Brendan Shanahan and the Wings go against his old team, the Blues, tomorrow night. Halupka to the air right away, McQuarters. R.W. McQuarters. Oh, nifty footwork to pick up the first down. Leo Perez on the tackle.
So you see why he is such an effective player. All that was just like a move on a punt return. He had a blocker out there, David Camacho, but Camacho fell down. So it's all up to McQuarters by himself. And watch the quick feet. Just like he's making one guy miss on a punt return, he makes two guys miss dancing along the sideline. That's just great individual effort. Watch McQuarters again. The footwork extra fast on this carpet.
McQuarters is now split to the far side. He's changed the color of his Band-Aid up under his eye here for the second half. Here he is again. Mike Hawthorne impeded his progress. Mike Rose made the tackle.
We are seeing some very good coaching decisions by both staffs right now. This is really good work by Les Miles, the offensive coordinator of Oklahoma State. Get McQuarters back in the ball game. Get him the ball quickly. Get him in the open field and let him use his skills to make people miss. Two good plays in a row for Oklahoma State.
2nd and 3. That play blown up at the spot. Mike Rose leading the troops down to Dr. Punch.
Todd Blackley, just adding to what you said a moment ago, I echo your comment about Les Miles. You know, when Les believes that when the game is on the line or when it's a critical part of the football game, you don't think plays, you think players. That's why when Purdue scored a moment ago and the defense came off, the first player the offensive coaches talked to was McQuarters. They patted him on the helmet, shook his hand, and he knew the McQuarters package was coming.
There is Les Miles, the offensive coordinator, an old Michigan man. 9 years of Michigan offensive line coach with Bob Simmons at Colorado, and now here running the offense. They run on 3rd down and come up a couple of yards short. Nathan Simmons is tackled. Will be 4th down.
Yeah, you know, what Jerry's talking about is so true. Football is not that complicated, really. It comes down to a matter of getting the ball to your best players. I mean, if you're not getting the football in the hands of your best players enough times, you're really hurting your chances of winning in a football game. And R.W. McQuarters is certainly the most explosive weapon the Cowboys have on offense.
Watch the scores go by at the bottom of your screen. Oklahoma State fans happy that OSU's basketball team beat TCU by 1 tonight. Jason Davis. His punt goes out of bounds. Purdue's drive start will come from the 26. Pretty good first 10 minutes of the 3rd quarter in San Antonio. Purdue by 10.
I don't know. They think it started somewhere in the attic. Is everyone okay? Yeah, everyone's all right, but the house, it's gone.
Sometimes you need more from an insurance agent than insurance.
Jeez, your family's had that place forever. And all those memories. I know. Listen, we'll take care of everything we can.
That's why at Grange, our agents aren't just in the insurance business.
Tom, I'm sorry. Yeah.
They're in the business of being human. Grange, your partner in protection.
Traffic jams can be trying. The inconvenience, unexpected breakdowns, but with an AirTouch cellular phone from Cellular Central, help is just a call away. Hi, I'm Andy Grumbacher.
And I'm George Simon. Cell phones do more than just keep you in touch on the road.
They keep you safe on it.
Visit Cellular Central at our Richland Mall store in the JCPenney wing today to take advantage of our fall free-for-all package. But hurry, this offer ends soon. Cellular Central, an AirTouch Cellular authorized agent.
Boys are going to be the next big thing. 2 big wide bodies, not afraid to mix it up in a crowd. I know you might be leaning towards Texas, but think Kansas. 3 Big Monday broadcasts, national primetime showcase for you, if you commit. Can my belly say Kansas? Son, on that belly, you could give directions to Kansas.
All right, let's go get off!
Big Ten meeting in the Builders Square Alamo Bowl in this spectacular facility just to the east of downtown San Antonio, just a few steps from the Riverwalk. That great Purdue, the All-American Purdue band, led the Purdue Charges. R.W. McQuarters at Oklahoma State facing an important series here, down 10, 5 minutes left in the 3rd quarter. Watson had trouble handling it first, but gets about 6 yards and looks to be shaken up.
they can really ill afford to lose him because Kendall Matthews, the other back, is still nursing a torn hip flexor muscle that he hurt in the 7th game of the year. He's back practicing, but he's not 100%. Edwin Watson has really carried the load at that single running back position. Now Eric Haddad is in the ball game in place of Ed Watson.
2nd and 5. They can adjust the play. Beats the clock. Goes deep for Alfred. Out of bounds, and he didn't catch it anyway. Step for step with R.W. McQuarters.
Really a great effort that time by Brian Alford, and he gave himself enough room on the sideline for the fade route. Watch him work inside to start the route. That gives the quarterback a chance to put it out over the outside shoulder away from the defender, but Alford just can't come down with the catch inbounds. This is really an important series, I think, for the Oklahoma State defense. This is not an offensive team that's built for a lot of comeback football. They've got to keep this game within reach so they can utilize their running game to its full effectiveness.
3rd and 5, Dickens. See you later. Chris Daniels, touchdown. He caught 2 all year. He may not catch a bigger one in his future years at Purdue. That is an Alamo Bowl record 69-yard touchdown pass and catch, mostly done by the sophomore from Clearwater, Florida. In the extra point is Shane Ryan. Purdue leads by 17, 20 points in the first 11:08 of the 3rd quarter.
If you can't get to Billy Dicken in time, he is going to make you pay. Now watch the safety right here in the middle of the field, Ricky Thompson. Watch him get fooled and start to step up this way. That's going to open it right up on the inside for the touchdown to Chris Daniels. Watch the safety. Look at the quarterback and then step up, and that's all that Daniels needed to slip behind him to take the throw from Dicken. And a great throw from Billy Dicken right on a rope allowed Daniels to catch it on the run and take it to the end zone.
Billy Dicken caught a touchdown pass this year thrown by Chris Daniels. 33 yards. Actually, Daniels threw it to Brian Alford, I beg your pardon. It started with a Dicken throw behind the line of scrimmage. Competitive, fiery, and a guy you really want to root for, Billy Dicken.
And credit also to that offensive line, those 5 guys that started every game, that only gave up 19 sacks during the season. Giving Billy Dicken time against this pressure man-to-man defense to find his matchup and to get the ball to Chris Daniels for the big play. That is, that's the whole game in a nutshell, really, between the Purdue offense and the Oklahoma State defense. Can the blitz get to the quarterback, or can Billy Dicken have enough time to make plays? He's made plays here to start the 2nd half.
Barnes kicks, McQuarters wants it, has it. Here comes R.W. McQuarters to the 15, and that is it. Billy Dicken has completed passes to 8 different receivers, but what a story he is. He came to Purdue redshirting in his first year from football, was the starting shortstop on the basketball team. Then the next year, he came in replacing the injured Rick Trefsker, started 3 games, but injured his shoulder in the last game. In '95, he missed 6 games with a torn rotator cuff, so he played secondary and special teams. Junior year, he comes in. The 3rd game of the year against West Virginia, he fractures his sternum, comes back from injury, is not the starter to start the season in preseason fall camp, but goes on to be the All-Big Ten coach's choice as the best quarterback in the conference. Alupka on 1st down. Down 17. Completes it to the fullback, Brian Akins, who carries half the Boilermaker defense for a first down. Here's Dr. Jerry Punch.
Guys, to add to the Billy Dickens story, talk about what a great athlete he is a scratch golfer, which is pretty tough to do, as Mike Tirico will tell you. He is a scratch golfer. He is the emergency field goal kicker. I'm told he's automatic up to 40 yards. And when Joe Tiller came to Purdue, he got all the guys together, took them bowling, sort of as a team unity kind of thing. Dickens had never bowled. His first time he touched a bowling ball, over 200 in the first game.
Bowling, shortstop on the baseball team, defensive back, he's done it all at Purdue and has won quite often this year. Jamal Fobbs, the first down across the 30 to the 35. The first down run will set up 2nd and 1.
You know, the other thing about Billy Dickens is he really made his move and earned this job in the 3 weeks of summer camp, because he was not very impressive coming out of spring drills. He was not very accurate throwing the football. He stayed in West Lafayette all summer, working with the receivers, working on throwing the football, working on the timing and understanding the offense. And really, he won the job when he went into fall camp, and he's had a great year.
He won the job from John Reeves, who you remember watching Big Ten games on ESPN last fall. Started 6 games at quarterback. Alumka is flushed. Looking to create something. High, incomplete pass intended for Willie Grissom. It will be 3rd and 1 for OSU.
Alupka forced out of the pocket because of Roosevelt Colvin again. He's really having a good football game. Here he gets around 2 guys. David Camacho and Josh Henson, nobody really got a good push on him, forced Alupka to leave the pocket and throw off balance. That's a good pass rush, good effort by Roosevelt Colvin against 2 linemen from Oklahoma State.
R.W. McQuarters taking a breather. The Purdue offense has run the OSU defense all over. It is 3rd and short here, 3rd and 1. Nathan Simmons gets the first down. They're going to mark him out at the 38-yard line. Lee Brush came away with the ball, but it was a first down picked up by Simmons.
Yeah, they got the first down, but that was not a very good-looking play. They were late again with the right formation that they wanted to get into the field. The fullback, Brian Akins, who's going to lead block on that play, was late getting into the huddle and lined up. They were very fortunate that they made that 3rd down and short yardage situation.
With 2 tight ends. Late over the middle, and Sean Love can't get it. Contact between Hawthorne and Lee Brush. That was the heaviest hit there. And Brush slow to get up, and Hawthorne back down on the ground.
There's a little miscommunication on that play. It looked like it was going to be a throwback screen, possibly to the tight end, but Alupka got back there and really had nowhere to go with the football and tried to make a late throw downfield, incomplete.
As you quarterbacks always say, late and over the middle is a recipe for disaster.
Boy, you're not kidding. Better get ready to go make a tackle if you do that.
You never had to do that, did you?
Put your head on a swivel, because those guys are going to try to crack you on the block as well.
Do you think they look for quarterbacks a little bit extra?
Absolutely.
Spoken like a true quarterback. Well, there is Tony Lindsay, the freshman out of Denver, Colorado, who played with good poise in the first half, but then just a couple of mistakes, and mostly on the passes to the tight end.
Yeah, down the middle late, trying to get the ball to the tight end too high, and with a free safety in the middle of the field. And those are things he'll just have to learn about and learn from, and try not to repeat when he starts out next year, or if he gets back in this ball game tonight.
On 2nd and 10. Just a couple of yards for Nathan Simmons, who took a pop. Well, Oklahoma State has seen a 30-to-something deficit and erased it this year. The Missouri game, October 25th, down 30-7. They come all the way back, take the lead, only to watch Missouri win in double overtime, 51-50. Lindsey led that comeback, but he had the All-America tight end Mays with some unbelievable catches.
Again, another 3rd down situation without R.W. McQuarters in the ball game.
And as Alupka got tied up coming back from center, his knee hit the ground, play dead right there, and it will be 4th down.
Trying to get out of there. Looks like number 62, Josh Henson, the left guard, may have stepped on his foot as he tried to drop back. and he went down behind the line of scrimmage.
Purdue fans to their feet as Lee Brush and the rest of the defense forces Oklahoma State's Jason Davis to punt.
Jason Davis in punt formation for the Cowboys.
Third punt of the night for Davis. 38-yarder and a
deep receiving
42-yarder. Vinny Sutherland has a touchdown in this quarter. Gets to the outside. Tim Dwight-esque return from Vinny Sutherland. Well, National Car Rental Bowl Week continues on ESPN. New Year's morning after game day, it's the Outback Bowl. Ron Dane, 3,284 rushing yards through his sophomore year, taking on the potent passing attack of Mike Bobo and Georgia. The Outback Bowl, 11 a.m. Eastern, New Year's morning on ESPN. Todd, Mike Bobo had an excellent season for this Georgia offense.
Yeah, it really did. Really was a nice compliment to the running of Robert Edwards. And, of course, they had some exciting guys to get the ball to, and guys like Hines Ward and Champ Bailey. That's a very explosive Georgia offense. And when they're on, when Mike Bobo's on and Robert Edwards is on, very difficult team to slow down. Much like this Purdue offense. When Billy Dicken is on like he is now, particularly in this second half, this offense, as every team in the Big Ten found out, very difficult to stop.
They scored 33 per game this year. That was 21st in the nation. Edwin Watson back after his injury. Picks up a couple of yards. Terrell Knowles in on the tackle, in the third quarter will come to an end. But what a quarter for Purdue. It was 10-6 starting the third quarter. But as we go to the fourth, Purdue has 30, in large part two big plays. Joe Tiller's offense getting a quick jump start from Vinny Sutherland. And then a touchdown pass from Billy Dicken. Sutherland took it in the house, helping Purdue to a 30-13 lead. The fourth quarter of the Builders Square Alamo Bowl when we come back from San Antonio, Texas.
All right, watch this play because this could be the game. The quarterback drops back and rolls right. Spots a receiver cutting upfield. He drills it. It's complete. Oh, he got nailed. And it looks like they're going to have to measure. Yes, they got it. They got the first. And the fans go wild.
Tonight's topic, Free Friday. Yeah. Sir, you played a critical role in the creation of the new Burger King fries that are being given away this Friday?
That's right, Bill. Free Friday.
Amazing. Now this.
The crispy new Burger King fries beat McDonald's fries in a nationwide taste test. Stop in Friday, January 2nd for a free small order.
Welcome back. Why give them away?
It's giving something back. I started from the ground up.
Literally.
You like the way you feel when you get what you need, like the key to your heart, like a break in the weather. You deserve someone who's always there at your service. Quality care.
Quality Care Service from Ford and Lincoln Mercury dealers.
How do you keep the world's leading companies 100% satisfied? Just make them 100% successful. That's how Siebel has become the global leader in information systems for world-class sales, marketing, and customer service organizations. We do whatever it takes to make sure our customers are 100% satisfied, 100% successful.
Siebel, the global leader in sales, marketing, and customer service systems.
Let's go!
Vacation travelers know that when it comes to renting a car, there's really only one place to go: National Car Rental, especially if you're going to the happiest place on earth. Because as the official car rental company of Disneyland in Southern California, National gets you in your car and on the road fast for a family vacation you'll never forget. So what are you waiting for? Let's go to Disneyland with National Car Rental.
Fourth quarter. Purdue, with a 20-point explosion in the third, leads the Builders Square Alamo Bowl by 17. Mike Tirico, Todd Blackledge, Dr. Jerry Punch, along with our ESPN crew here in San Antonio. Billy Dickett, oh, nice move not to throw the interception, and Donald Winston has it ricochet off of his hands. Terrell Knowles' eyes must have opened up there for a second, Todd.
Well, that's a complete timing play. It's one step, boom, throw it out there, and Terrell Knowles was right out in the throwing lane, and that forced Billy Dickett to double pump it, and that destroys the timing of the play. You see Knowles right there in the throwing lane, and Dickett just wasn't able to reload and make the throw.
Knowles out of the Philadelphia high school area called Tulsa home. Third and long for Purdue. To get across midfield to get a first down. Brian Alford, first down across the 40-yard line. Stiff arm from McQuarters on the way out of bounds.
Boy, Brian Alford did a nice thing here too, Mike. Did a great job of coming back to the football. He's running a crossing route, but watch him come back to the football to cut off the distance. Here he is in the middle. Watch now as he crosses the field. Watch him come back to the football and cut off the defender and then take it to the sideline. That's just a good veteran move by a guy who's caught a lot of passes in his career. Coming back to his quarterback, giving him the good target, both numbers, and then making a nice run after catch.
Alfred's fourth catch, he has 61 yards from the 39-yard line. Tough couple of inside yards for Ed Watson.
You know, it was fun talking to Joe Chiller the other day and talking to him about, you know, when he embraced this offense, because he was an assistant at Purdue and he was kind of more of a run-oriented guy, and he left Purdue in the 80s and went to Wyoming, and he said he saw the light out there about the passing game, and not only did he learn the value of the passing game in his time out there, but he also learned that if you don't have access to the same kind of people as the folks you're playing, you've got to be different. You've got to do some things different in order to be successful, and this Purdue offense certainly is different in terms of the Big Ten.
Digging, looking. John Blackman in and out of his hands. Alfred cleared out the area for him. The tight end couldn't hang on. It will be third down. The 20 Purdue points in the third quarter, boosting the Boilermaker numbers as we look at the stats through three quarters. Purdue now 283 yards of passing offense here in this 1997 Builders Square Alamo Bowl.
A big part of that explosion in the third quarter attributed to the resiliency of Billy Dickett. I mean, he didn't have a great first half. He threw a couple interceptions and knocked him around a little bit, but he just hung in there, came out in the third quarter, no shaking of his confidence, and made some big plays in that quarter.
Here's a third down coming up. Didn't like what he saw, took a timeout. We'll step aside with him.
All right, watch this play because this could be the game. Quarterback drops back and rolls right. Spots a receiver cutting upfield. He drills it. It's complete. Oh, he got nailed. And it looks like they're going to have to measure. Yes, they got it. They got the first. And the fans go wild.
The story? Get the world's fastest sport utility vehicle. Introducing the Grand Cherokee 5.9 Limited. Peterson's 4-wheel and off-road magazine's 4x4 of the year.
I love what I do, and especially now that I can do it at home. You know, I was seeing my kids for about 10 minutes when I got home, and I didn't want to be a 10-minute father. You know, you get a hug, but it's not enough. I use GTE because nobody else could give me internet, wireless, and long distance, and be my local phone company, too. And that's why I think GTE is such a good value. I can choose from one company, whatever I need. No, that's great, sweetheart. Congratulations.
From school.
The
Builder Square Alamo Bowl is presented by Builder Square, Hechinger and Home Quarters, and in part by Jeep, makers of the Jeep Grand Cherokee, Cherokee, and Wrangler.
Well, the folks who enjoyed staying downtown this week had a chance to walk over and visit this great landmark, the Alamo. And just a few steps from the Alamo is the Riverwalk, where the Purdue band and fans and Oklahoma State fans have really had a great time in this city that will host the college basketball Final Four in March.
Last time they were in this formation, they brought Alfred on the crossing route over the middle.
3rd and 7. Dickin looking same way. A hair behind him and well covered by Kevin Williams. Flag is down. Back by the quarterback. Maybe a late hit on Dickin. Did they rough the passer? Bill Goss, our referee.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, head contact on the defense, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Well, Rob Ryan told us yesterday that he would be able to live with a couple personal fouls if they were getting to the quarterback, but that would have been at a point in the game when they weren't down by 17 points and Purdue wasn't moving into scoring position again. That is a play where Terrell Knowles probably should have pulled off on that play because it was not a good throw anyway by Billy Dickin. Lost opportunity that time for the Oklahoma State defense.
They had a 5-yard penalty. The penalty after the touchdown that was just for a yard. This 15-yarder. Purdue 1st and 10 at the 21. Dickin to the ground. 6 yards. It will be 2nd and 4. Maybe that pressure forced some of the problems in the first half, but when you have this pressure on the quarterback, that means you have man coverage and big plays can happen, and they did in the second half.
You are always vulnerable if you play that style of defense. If you take your free safety out of the middle of the field, if you try to bring extra people and leave yourself in single coverage, then you're always vulnerable to give up big plays if the offensive line protects for a guy like Billy Dickin, and that's what they were able to do in that 3rd quarter, and that's why we saw a 20-point explosion.
2nd and 4, 5 wide receivers. This is a Big Ten team. Dickin escapes, keeps, and it's going to be real close. He does have the first down just outside the 10-yard line.
Great effort by Billy Dickin, and he made a pretty good defender miss. That was Kevin Williams, number 5, who was coming up to make the play. Watch Billy Dickin. He can't get rid of the ball quick. He eludes one right there. That's Courtney Mallory, but here's even more impressive. Eludes Ricky Thompson, the free safety, and picks up the first down. I mean, this guy is a competitor. He's also, as we've seen tonight, a very tough kid because he's gotten beat around a little bit, but he has hung in there and made plays.
Since it's touching the 10, it's technically 1st and goal for Purdue. Dickin in trouble. Intercepted, ill-advised pass. Kenyatta Wright, who had a pick this year, comes up with the interception, and what would have been the capping points not scored by Purdue.
He's not made many bad decisions, but as you meant, very much an ill-advised pass that time by Billy Dickin, trying to avoid the sack as Jack Golden was right in there putting the pressure on him. And as we've seen quarterbacks on both sides of the field, you don't carelessly throw the football into the middle of the formation, into the middle of the defense. There's Billy Dickin trying to avoid the sack. He's got his team down in scoring territory and just can't get enough on that ball to throw it out of the back of the end zone.
Must possession for Oklahoma State. Movement up front. Pointing at Adam Davis, but was Purdue the cause of the movement? Bill Goss has been busier this second half.
Ball start on the offense.
Take a look again at that play by Billy Dickin, trying to avoid the loss. Good pressure by Oklahoma State, and then watch his reaction. He knows he made a bad decision. And Joe Tiller knows that could have put this game on ice. That could have absolutely put his team in a very comfortable position in this ballgame.
1st and 14 after the half the distance penalty. Jamal Fobbs runs right into Greg Smith. The senior out of Chicago, Illinois, makes the tackle.
Great play by Greg Smith. He and Leo Perez, the 2 tackles in there on that defense, the anchor guys. You know, they didn't like, one of the defensive coaches said, you know, these 2 guys are kind of lunch bucket type guys. And Perez and Smith, they're good friends. They kind of took offense to that. They said, hey, that kind of translates that we just aren't just kind of steady. We're not spectacular. We don't make many plays. Say, hey, we make a lot of plays too. They kind of have used that to motivate them this year. Both Smith and Perez have had solid years for Purdue.
2nd and 11, Halupka. Nearly dropped, but the first down hung on to by Sean Love. At the 25, 19-yard pickup from Halupka to Love.
And if he's healthy, I think this is the time when R.W. McQuarters needs to get back into the football game. This is a good catch by Sean Love and a big conversion for Chris Halupka, but R.W. McQuarters is your big play guy, and he has not been on the field offensively for a while now. And
he's got to be tired, though. It's snap 110 of the game.
Yeah.
Right? That's the problem. You can have these great athletes and get them on both sides of the ball, but when he's your best weapon on offense, you're in situations like you just talked about.
Yeah. And when you're playing an offensive team like Purdue, where as a cornerback you get no break, you have no rest whatsoever, because every play you're running down the field.
Willie Grissom dropped that pass, and here comes McQuarters now. Dr. Jerry Punch.
Guys, exactly right. What you're talking about is a fatigue factor for R.W. McQuarters. He just came running on the field, but literally he was on the sideline just trying to catch his breath, playing defense, offense, special teams. He really didn't have a lot of gas left. That kept him out of the first couple of plays, but now he's in on 2nd down.
He's at the top of the screen. Halupka going deep. Nobody home. Double coverage on Sean Love.
It looked like a case where the quarterback, Halupka, just made up his mind where he was going with the football, because, as you mentioned, double coverage. Again, a free safety in the middle of the field. Billy Gustin providing help down the middle, and Sean Love really had no chance to come up with that play.
If you're just joining us, we welcome you to the Alamo Dome in San Antonio. Mike Tirico, Todd Blackledge, Dr. Jerry Punch on the sidelines for this 6th edition of the Builders Square Alamo Bowl. It was 10-6 Purdue after 3. The Boilermakers exploding for 3 third-quarter touchdowns. Lead by 17. Big 3rd and 10 for OSU. Over the middle for the tight end again. Incomplete. Billy Gustin had the coverage on the pass intended for Garrett Staggs.
I think there's going to be a penalty on Oklahoma State. I don't think they had a legal formation. R.W. McQuarters not sure where he was supposed to line up on that play.
Illegal motion on the offense. Penalties decline. 4th down.
And as Dr. Jerry Punch said, I think for the first time we are really seeing the effects of fatigue on R.W. McQuarters. He looks a little bit tired now out there on the field. He's played 84 out of 110 plays, and no matter how great a shape he is in, he has not played a football game for a month, and that's an awful lot to ask of an individual.
Whistles blow immediately. And Purdue takes a timeout as Oklahoma State had its punch personnel on the field. Purdue is a little tardy. Step aside. The Boilermakers lead by 17.
And the rhythm of life is a powerful beat. Puts a tingle in your fingers, tingle in your feet. Rhythm in the playroom, rhythm in the street. Yeah, the rhythm of life is a powerful beat. Rhythm of life is a powerful beat. Puts a tingle in your fingers, tingle in your feet. Rhythm in the playroom, rhythm in the street. Yeah, the rhythm of life is a powerful beat.
For over 120 years, Glidden has been bringing American homes to life. Bring yours to life with Glidden.
The new Jeep Cherokee Classic, as seen by the white-tailed Dragonfly. With a refined interior and available select-track full-time four-wheel drive, it's a great way to cross remote territory, no matter how you look at it. Even if you're a green tree frog. Now Now get Jeep Cherokee and all these features, including air conditioning, at no extra charge.
It's that time of year again, tax season. Are you prepared? Will you file your return with confidence or with crossed fingers? The Wall Street Journal Guide to Understanding Your Taxes can give you more confidence, and it's yours free with 10 weeks of the journal for just $3.90 a week. The Guide and the Journal, necessary items during a stormy season. Call now for the Wall Street Journal, 800-443-7400. That's 800-443-7400.
National Car Rental Bowl Week continues as Wisconsin takes on Georgia in the Outback Bowl. Wisconsin, Georgia, Thursday at 11 on ESPN.
Oklahoma State head coach Bob Simmons on the right has been talking to the Southeastern Conference officials throughout this timeout. Upset that Joe Tiller's team was able to get the timeout called when the Purdue punt personnel was not on the field. No change in it now. Jason Davis back in punt formation. Donald Winston deep to receive. Winston was cheating up for a fake punt, so he's driven all the way back to the 20. And a nice open field tackle by Evan Howell, the backup DB. 53-yard punt, and he lost 5 on the return. So a 58-yard net for the Cowboys. That's a stat they've excelled in this year.
Well, Billy Dicken has had a great second half, but Roosevelt Coleman has set the tempo for the Purdue defense because their defense was on the field first. Here in 2 consecutive plays, he gets after the quarterback, Tony Lindsay, forces the fumble. And again, the great pressure on the outside. Doesn't get a sack, but certainly hurries the throw. He has really stepped up the tempo here in the second half for Purdue.
On first down, Edwin Watson able to pull the pile forward. He gained about 4 yards, and here's Dr. Jarrett.
We're talking about courage on this Purdue football team. We mentioned that Billy Dicken was playing the second half with a very, very sore right shoulder. How about Edwin Watson, who went out on the final play of the third quarter with a mild separation of his left shoulder? Now, he said, I want to go back in the football game. Very, very uncomfortable. But remember, they only have one other running back because Kendall Matthews has that torn hip flexor. So Watson playing with pain.
Watson, a kid from Pontiac, Michigan. University of Michigan didn't show much interest. He's happened to be in the Big Ten. Here's the speedy and quick Vinny Sutherland again. Out at the 45-yard line. He picked up 22 and a first down.
We've seen 2 reverses to Vinny Sutherland and 2 great blocks by the right guard, Chucky Jacoby, to spring this play. And again, the speed of Vinny Sutherland. Watch Jacoby here come out and get the block that springs Sutherland. There you see him on the ground. And then downfield, Brian Alford again blocking for his wide receiver teammate, Vinny Sutherland. And well, that guy does have some quick feet. Either that or his legs are just so much shorter it looks like they're moving faster. But he
back
can
off,
move.
Back off on the short guy's legs. Dicken overthrows his man, but a flag is down as Alford was tied up by Kevin Williams. Williams and McQuarters have been tested and tested and tested, and Purdue has been able to hit the couple of big plays tonight, and that's really part of the story of this game.
Passing.
Take a look at here, just a simple hook route, and there you see the hook with the left hand of Kevin Williams. He tried to get away with it, but official right on the spot made the good call. And Oklahoma State defense starting to show a little signs of weariness. That this offense of Purdue is relentless. They just keep attacking downfield. And if you let down a little bit, they're going to burn you for a big play.
Dickens shovel pass, Edwin Watson. Out of bounds at the 20. They're getting huge yardage chunks here in this second half. That was a 24-yard play. Sutherland had a 22-yarder 2 snaps before.
And you can see him really favoring that shoulder that Dr. Punch was talking about. He's going to come out of the ball game. An excellent run on the shovel pass. Well designed, well executed by Purdue. And watch Edwin Watson at the end of this play. Takes a shot right there on his left shoulder, trying to get to the sideline. Obvious pain.
Eric Haddad from St. Ignatius High School in the Cleveland, Ohio area, checks into the lineup. Dickin goes to the air, up 17. Almost up 23. Near touchdown grab for Willie Tillman, but incomplete. Are you surprised that this Purdue offense has had this much success this year, considering that although there is some speed in the receiver corps, this is not the perfect personnel just yet for Joe Tiller's offense?
Well, it is a little bit surprising in that regard, but I think the reason is because of the emergence of Billy Dickin and how well he was able to adapt to this offense and spread the football around. They've got some speed. They were able to bring a couple young guys into the program and inject a little speed, but really it's because of Brian Dickin and his ability to pick this offense up.
He looked to Alfred. He was covered. Came back the other way, but not much. On the pass to Isaac Jones, it was McQuarters still out there and still digging in on defense.
Where you start to see fatigue on a defense is in that front wall, and those guys rushing the passer. They're just not able to get around Billy Dickin that much anymore in this ball game. Billy Dickin having a lot more time to stand back there and make the throws downfield. And it gets tough rushing the quarterback down after down after down. It takes a lot of energy away. It doesn't take as much energy to pass block as it does to pass rush.
3rd and 10. One rusher drops back in coverage, and the laid out Winston gets knocked down by Maurice Simpson. 4th down, the field goal unit comes on. Dickin is the holder, so he will stay on for Shane Ryan's attempt from 37 yards out. Ryan, the sophomore from the Houston area, the Woodlands in Texas, so he returns home tonight. And the Texan kicks a field goal. He's kicked a couple. Joe Tiller's offense putting up points like they did in the regular season.
Captain David Messmore, Mansfield Police Department, retired.
As a veteran of over 20 years with the Mansfield Police Department, I worked with virtually every security company, local, regional, and national. But when it came to protecting my family and home, I demanded the best, and I chose Sonatrol. With Sonatrol, my family's security will never be subcontracted to someone in New Jersey or anywhere else out of state. For the security of those you love, there's only one choice: Sonatrol Security.
Happy holidays from everyone at Widener Motors. Smart buyers know that this is the best week of the year to buy a new car. And Widener Cadillacs made it easy this year.
Save up to $8,000 on the Caddy that zigs, the award-winning Catera. Enjoy great savings on the full line of Cadillacs at Widener Motors. But hurry, all Cadillac incentives and Option 1 discounts end with the new year.
Remember, this is the best week of the year to buy a car. And now you know that the best place to buy it is at Steve Cobb's Widener Motors in sunny Mansfield.
ESPN magazine is gonna be fat, but please, no swimsuits.
Yeah, no bikinis.
No one pieces.
No thongs.
None of that.
All nude.
Tastefully done.
But definitely all nude.
That's important.
Very important.
Yeah.
To be tasteful.
The Purdue train is chugging. They brought down all the traditions of Purdue. The big drum, the Boilermakers special made the 22-hour drive. Purdue Pete, the Golden Girl, is here. The inflatable doll, Rowdy. They're going to sing Hail Purdue after the game as long as this 20-point lead holds up. And I wonder if that guy would go to the office looking like that.
It's great to see a team that hasn't been to a bowl for a long time enjoy it like the people from Purdue are right now.
Barnes' line drive deflects off McQuarters, goes out of the end zone for a touchback. Oklahoma State's offense missing that key weapon. Alonzo Mays, first-team All-America tight end. Dr. Jerry Punch, he separated his shoulder in Game 7, but had no chance of playing tonight, right?
Well, he really didn't. He had a third-degree AC separation. There are 3 degrees, first, second, and third. The third being the worst, meaning that the clavicle was elevated greater than 1 width of the bone. It was elevated so high, even though they probably could have padded it, and he would have tried to play, he wouldn't have been able to use his left arm very well. He could possibly have injured it worse, so he made a wise decision. He had it operated on. Dr. Jimmy Andrews down in Birmingham had it fixed to get ready for an NFL career.
Tony Lindsay is back in the game at quarterback for OSU. His pass for McQuarters is incomplete.
You got to remember the last play that Alonzo Mays played for Oklahoma State when he was healthy. They were beating Missouri 37-30. They went on to lose that game. He couldn't play anymore. They lost the next week to Texas A&M. They lost 2 weeks later to Texas Tech. So really, when they lost Alonzo Mays, they lost a huge part of their offense and everything they were trying to do offensively. And he does have a great pro career ahead of him, and he did make a good decision, but it was a big loss for the Oklahoma State Cowboys.
2nd and 10 from the 20 for Lindsay in the Cowboy offense. Keeping it on the ground, a first down to the 34. Willie Fells knocks down Lindsay. One last point on Mays. He had 29 receptions this year, missing those last 4 games. Second best reception total on this team was 14. Right. So he had twice as many receptions as the next guy, and he missed really a third of the season. And they tried the tight end and really almost had a touchdown on the very first drive of the game, throwing for Garrett Steggs. But the pass behind him, a couple of mistakes on passes intended for tight ends tonight. Lindsay will keep again. Another rushing first down for the freshman across midfield. Mike Hawthorne knocked him down after a 16-yard pickup.
And see, this is part of what Oklahoma State can do and what Tony Lindsay can do running the football. But this style offense, it's built around the running game so much that it really only is effective if the game is close. But in a game like this, when you're down by 20 points, your running game is pretty much out the window. And now you have to rely on throwing the football and dropping back and throwing the football. And that is really not the strength of Tony Lindsay. He is most effective when he can utilize play action, running the option, and using his legs as well as his arm.
See the flag come down, and OSU will be pushed back 5.
Dead ball, false start on the offensive line, first down, 5-yard penalty.
I think a good move by Bob Simmons to get him back in the game. Try to win this game, of course, try for the miracle comeback, but also hopefully for him, his last memory of what should be a great 97 first year is a positive one if he can do something on one of these drives.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. I think it is a good move by Bob Simmons. Get him back in the game, get him feeling good about himself again. Hope he can make some plays, maybe get his team for a couple of scores, because he really did have an outstanding season as a redshirt freshman.
Lindsay is sacked. Chucky Wakori, the junior out of Lafayette, Indiana, a 16-yard loss.
When you know a quarterback is going to throw all the time, it makes it pretty easy to rush the passer. This time Wakori goes right around Calvin Menifee and makes the big sack. Take a look at the coverage downfield. Zone defense by Purdue. Really nowhere to go with the football. But again, when you one-dimensionalize an offense, you can really tee off as a lineman and go after the quarterback.
2nd and 26. Short for McQuarters as they tried the misdirection screen. Ike Moore with the coverage. When we're done, SportsCenter's on. We'll have reports from the Orange and the Rose Bowl. Another record for Mr. Record, Michael Jordan. And Boilermaker fans, 1 for 2 today, it looks like. We'll talk about the basketball upset. Both schools, as we mentioned, with the successful basketball seasons going, but Purdue down to 11-3 after losing their Big Ten opener at home to Michigan State. And Oklahoma State stays unbeaten, beating old Oklahoma coach Billy Tubbs at TCU. A 1-point win in Fort Worth tonight for Eddie Sutton's Cowboys. 3rd and 26. Lindsay tries to run for some of it. Got about 12 there. Willie Burroughs pulls him down. See if they're going to punt on 4th and long. 4th and about 15, and they will kick.
Even though they did come back and score 30 unanswered points to get back in that Missouri game, this is still not an offense that is geared towards playing comeback football. It's an offense that's geared to using the running game and playing in close ball games so you can utilize all your weapons. This is not the kind of game that favors Oklahoma State.
Oklahoma State's going to take a timeout, maybe to consider if they should be kicking away. Down 20 with 6:24 left in the final game of the season.
All right, watch this play because this could be the game. The quarterback drops back and rolls right. Spots a receiver cutting upfield. He drills it. It's complete. Oh, he got nailed. And it looks like they're going to have to measure. Yes, they got it. They got the first. And the fans go wild.
The gentle whisper of a saxophone. The warm glow from a fine wine. The light from a Sylvania halogen 60-watt inner tungsten glass capsule A-line bulb. Just call us hopeless romantics. Sylvania, brilliant light.
The story? Get the world's fastest sport utility vehicle. Introducing the Grand Cherokee 5.9 Limited. Peterson's four-wheel and off-road magazine's 4x4 of the year.
Fourth down, Oklahoma State decides to go for it instead of punting.
Yeah, and they go with the other quarterback, Chris Halupka, back in. Lindsey started this series, but the better passer, Halupka, in the game now.
Scrambling, they need a first down over the 40. Should have it. Now they do have the first down to Jamal Fobbs, and a flag after the play. Lee Brush was in some combat down the field with Jeremy Offutt, the OSU center. Let's see who the flag is on.
Well, they're going to get the first down, but then they're going to back the ball up because I think it's a personal foul on Jeremy Offutt, just trying to get a block downfield, but clearly after the play is done, you don't want to get mad at a guy for hustling and trying to help his receiver out down the field, but you got to be smart when you get there.
The play established a first down. After the play, there was a dead ball, personal foul on the offense. It's a 15-yard penalty. It'll be first down and 10.
Here's Offutt right now. Now watch him as he runs downfield trying to get a block at the end of this play. And when you're 6'5", 295, you can't hide from anybody, especially when you hit a guy who's only 5'10", 195 like Lee Brush. So not a very smart penalty that time by Jeremy Offutt.
How about Lee Brush? Right back up. It's kind of like that Rowdy, that inflatable doll that Purdue has. If that thing ever falls down, boom, pops right back up.
Play until he drops. That's what they said about him.
Pass for Fobbs is incompleted, and another flag is down. This in the Oklahoma State backfield. Oklahoma State getting a little bit sloppy as this game gets away and winds down a bit.
Holding on the offense. Penalties 10 yards from the spot of the foul. Repeat first down.
One thing about Bob Simmons and really both these head coaches, Bob Simmons and Joe Tiller, they really provided great leadership to their teams this year. They had to make some tough decisions when the season started about removing some guys from the team, and they were consistent. They stayed strong, and really I think that all trickles down. You look to those guys at the top and see how they handle things, and they were both men of conviction this year, and then they had that success at the end of the season to point to all their teammates.
Halupka's pass for Greg Brown falls incomplete. Let's remember that this Oklahoma State program 6 years ago was 0-10-1, so it's a huge rebuild.
Roosevelt Coleman has really turned it up a notch here in the second half. He has really put a lot of pressure on, whether it's Chris Halupka or Tony Lindsay. He has been in the Oklahoma State backfield ever since he came out of the locker room to start this second half.
They're just backing up like nobody's business here.
There he is again. Just collapsing the pocket. David Camacho just can't deal with the speed right now of Roosevelt Colvin. They also have a running back, Nathan Simmons, there to help him, but Colvin just showing great explosiveness off the football. Watch him go right around Camacho, and there's Simmons to help. It doesn't matter. He is right to the quarterback in a heartbeat.
10 sacks. One of the top among the Big Ten. Happy family with good reason. Third and forever. Intercepted. It was Henry Bell, the junior out of Los Angeles. Had 2 picks this year. Now has one here in the Alamo Bowl. And Halupka took another lick. This Purdue defense has forced 31 turnovers this year. Doing it again tonight.
And again, it's Roosevelt Colvin collapsing the pocket, forcing Halupka out where he's not as comfortable as he is standing in the pocket to throw. And Henry Bell just steps right in front of that pass for the interception.
New quarterback for Purdue is Drew Brees. Hands off to Eric Haddad. And the junior out of Ohio gains a few. Well, here is the future of this Purdue basketball on grass offense. Freshman out of Austin, Texas.
And they're very excited about him. They think he has a better arm right now than Billy Dickin, and really probably had the perfect situation. You have your senior who picked up the offense and had a great year, and you won 8 ball games, got to a bowl game. You've got your freshman who got a chance to learn and watch Billy Dickin run the offense, get in and play some in some ball games this year. So it really has worked out as well as Joe Tiller probably could have ever expected in terms of grooming a young quarterback to run this system next year.
Brees played in 5 of the last 7 Boilermaker games. He hands to Haddad there. Brees was the league most valuable offensive player. Texas 5A football. It's the highest level of high school football down here in the Lone Star State. His team won the state championship 16-0, and he comes from a throwing program. He threw for 4,528 yards offensively for his career. There you see his numbers last year.
Everybody knows the caliber of high school football in Texas, and playing at the top of his game down there, and again playing in a very quarterback-friendly system right now at Purdue.
Second effort. Haddad will be close to the first down. So the way it looks, the Purdue career of Billy Dickin has come to an end. Well, he won't be remembered probably with Everett and Mark Herman and Scott Campbell and Mike Phipps and Bob Greasy and Gary Danielson and Len Dawson and even Jeff George for a year. Unbelievable quarterbacks that have played at Purdue, but he has certainly cut out a nice little niche of Boilermaker history.
He really has. He has had an outstanding year, and what a way to go out for the senior out of Bloomington, Illinois.
Movement early by the Boilermaker offense.
You know, it's interesting when we talked to Tim Lopano, the wide receiver coach. He said, you know, he's been involved in this offensive system now for about 17 years.
Dead ball, false start on the offensive line, 4th down.
And the best thing, he said the best thing that this offense did, and this quarterback, Billy Dickin, did this year, was spread the football around better than any quarterback that's run this system. And take a look at tonight. Everybody got in on the action. 8 different guys caught passes. You see Edwin Watson led the way with 5 catches for 102 yards. So Billy Dickin not only absorbed the offense, but distributed the ball better than anybody maybe that's run this offense of Joe Tiller's system.
Trying not to risk a block punt. They go for it on 4th and 6, and the pass falls incomplete, intended for Isaac Jones.
And I think that's part of why this offense is so difficult to stop. You can't just go in and say, well, we're going to take Brian Alford out of the game because he's the only guy they throw to. If you focus too much attention on Brian Alford, then Edwin Watson's going to catch balls, and Isaac Jones is going to catch balls, or Vinny Sutherland's going to catch balls. That part of the difficulty in defending this offense is that they spread you out horizontally and vertically, and they find defense mismatches.
The celebration is quite deserved for what Joe Tiller has done this year at Purdue and for these fans overall. We mentioned at the very top of the show, they've played football for 110 years at Purdue. They've only finished in the top 10 at the end of the season 5 times. So, I mean, you talk about a long time between drinks of champagne. Lindsey is the quarterback looking for McQuarters, and the pass is overthrown. Here's Jerry Punch as there's a penalty marker at the line of scrimmage. Doc?
Guys, you're talking about the job Joe Tiller has done here after the success he had at Wyoming. The unusual thing about him coming here was that the phone call he got to ask if he was interested in coming to Purdue came from current head coach Jim Coletto. Coletto asked Tiller, said, hey, are you interested in a Purdue job? And Tiller said, my reaction was, well, should I be? I mean, you're the head coach. And Coletto said, yeah, obviously he was concerned. He wanted the program to move forward. And when Tiller came to Purdue, he and Coletto sat down jointly and went over the personnel. So Tiller certainly has given a call to Jim Coletto for helping this program as far as the personnel and being able to make what happened this year happen.
You know, and just to add to that, Doctor, I mean, Jim Coletto obviously recruited some pretty quality kids. That, you know, this senior class was very important to the success of Purdue this year. And Joe Tiller challenged those seniors and says this team will only be as good as the senior class. And those seniors really responded well and have given great leadership to Purdue this season.
After a roughing the passer penalty, a 16-yard pickup for Jamal Fobbs. First and 10 for Oklahoma State at the Purdue 29, and Willie Burrows, the linebacker for the Boilermakers, was shaken up after that Fobbs carry. And the officials call for time to make sure that the injured player, Burrows, comes off the field.
I think we really have to tip our hat to the Purdue defense and Brock Spack, the job that they did tonight, too. The offense was impressive with Billy Dicken, but the defense played very well. And that's a defense that has given up a lot of yards, but has created a lot of turnovers. But they did a little bit of everything tonight. They forced turnovers, but they also played very physical with this Oklahoma State football team.
Dicken and Adrian Beasley, the free safety, have been named most valuable players on offense and defense of this game. Sean Love's pass, intended for Love, it goes incomplete. Mike Hawthorne has been around the ball a lot tonight, in on the coverage. We talked about the Purdue success and how rare a top 10 finish has been for this team. They're still a ways away from that. Not going to happen this year, but in the future they hope. For Oklahoma State, for as long as they've been playing football, they've only finished in the top 10 twice, 1945 and 1984. So this success that this Oklahoma State team has had means so much for this university. Fobbs for a few, as SportsCenter will come up after our final 105 seconds here in Texas.
And when a team goes on probation, as Oklahoma State did a few years ago, it can really be devastating, and it really takes a long time to recover from that. And Oklahoma State certainly has the right guy to get them out of that and get them back where they belong, and that's in Bob Simmons, and he has done a great job. Each year he's increased that total a little bit, that win total. They've done a little bit better, and then the breakthrough this year with 8 wins. So a great job turning it around down in Stillwater by Bob Simmons.
Nice pass completion to Greg Brown, the tight end. With a minute and 11 left. Oklahoma State still grinding, trying to get points. The Purdue players are planning the splash. Oh, there it is. There's the signal to let's go do it. Stand by.
Somebody's got to be the decoy. So is it John Reeves, or somebody's got to be the decoy to make sure Joe Tiller doesn't know what's coming?
R.W. McQuarters still going, says hold that Gatorade. R.W. McQuarters, who's played so many snaps in this game, he's still on the field with the outcome virtually decided, but scores a touchdown here in the final minute.
He just shows you what kind of ability he has in the open field. You get him the football, you let him get out there one-on-one and make somebody miss. Here the little juke and then the stiff arm, and he's into the end zone. But that's, I'll tell you what, we'll see a lot of that next year. And anybody that plays Oklahoma State better be ready to see a lot of number 17 with the football in his hands.
Sidness adds the extra point. It's a 13-point game with 55 seconds left. Well, the decoy was doing a good job deflecting Joe Tiller's interest and what direction he was looking at. But they pulled back on the Gatorade for just a moment. Recover the onside kick first after R.W. McQuarters on snap 106, or play 106, because you don't consider the special teams kick snaps. 106 of 147 gets the touchdown.
He is an impressive athlete, no question about it. And he really didn't get much opportunity to return the ball tonight as a kick returner, primarily because Purdue didn't have to punt very many times. They were so effective moving the football, or they turned it over.
And Arntz did a great job with the kickoffs,
That's
too.
right. That's right.
Remember, they told us what? Maybe you'll see McQuarters 15, a little bit more, and he's doubled that, 30 snaps on offense. The RW, by the way, in case you were wondering at home, is short for Robert William. We just started calling him RW early on. He said, Dad, Mom, not sure who did, but we said, what is your dad's name, Robert? And he said, yes. He said, but really, my dad is known as Dirt.
Yeah, doesn't like Robert. He wants to be known as Dirt. But I told him, I said, R.W. McQuarters, that just sounds like a successful trial attorney. You know, R.W. McQuarters is in the courtroom. Oh, watch out.
I was about to say stranger things have happened, but not one coming to mind right now. Let's see if they can get the onside kick. No, it is recovered by Eric Haddad. And the Purdue offense will get the ball back.
You see that onside kick, and one of the real big wins for Joe Tiller and Purdue this year came against Michigan State, an improbable comeback. They were 11 points down with 2 minutes left in the ball game, and blocked a field goal, returned it for a touchdown, turned around and recovered an onside kick and scored another touchdown to win 22-21, a huge victory over Michigan State.
We're now back to the planning of the Gatorade. The offensive lineman holding. Joe Tiller about to get crushed.
They really bought into his system. I mean, it's they enjoyed playing football this year in West Lafayette, and Joe Tiller is the main guy responsible for that. And a lot of affection going into this pour right here too.
And you know that looking down with a smile is Larry Corpitz, the offensive coordinator with Joe Tiller at Wyoming, who came to West Lafayette, was ready to be the offensive coordinator here, suffering from brain cancer, died July 13th. So close to Joe Tiller. Undoubtedly thoughts of him on his mind here tonight as the Purdue Boilermakers wait 13 years to get to a bowl game and come away with a victory. They win the 1997 Builders Square Alamo Bowl by the score of 33-20. Sports Center is coming up next with all the stories from today. Thanks to our great Thursday Night Football crew who worked with us here on the Builders Square Alamo Bowl. For Dr. Jerry Punch and Todd Blackledge, Mike Tirico, this has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. Sports Center's next after this.
Routes, you know the pressure's going to be sitting on him about steep. Larry Green made that interception.
Clark straight ahead. Parker inside the 15. He's to the 13. Keith Bullock, who also has been in on a lot of tackles tonight.
wraps him up. And now Virginia Tech doesn't want to do anything fancy, and they don't want to do it quickly. They would like to take that thing all the way down to 0 if they could, and don't really care if they score the touchdown.
What could be going through Donovan McNabb's mind? He gave up basketball to concentrate on football. They had that big win against Wisconsin. Everybody got their hopes up high, and they've had 3 very difficult losses.
Down to the 5-yard line. It's going to be a 1st and goal as Darius finally made the stop. Mike Tirico, back to you.
Ron, I want to put a picture of one of those Sunday's headlines that you showed us. Tavian Banks broke Ed Podolak's school record, 314 rushing yards, 517 yards in his first 2 games. Iowa does not play Penn State this year, but they play at Ohio State and Michigan.
I appreciate that, Mike. I didn't have my schedule here. I knew they had tough road games, so Mike was right on top of that.
Oxendine, by the way, 97 yards, so if he carries the rest of this 5 yards distance into the end zone, he'll be over 100 for the night. And he does get the pick. Turns it back inside. He's over 100, and he's also in for the touchdown. DiNapoli with a great block.
What did he tell Adrian when they met that he was going to score? What did he say, 2 touchdowns?
3, I think.
3 touchdowns. Well, he's out of time. He got close to it, though. Sometimes when you talk, you can back it up. Ken Oxendine is doing just that.
Shane Graham to attempt the extra point. Tatum heard the holder, knocks it home. So this is a break in the action, and we'll take it with him. 5:14 left in our ball game with the new score. The Hokies 24 at Syracuse 3.
How to fit a ton of features into a half-ton truck. The Mazda SE5.
Mazda SE5. Well, I want it all. Mazda SE5.
The Mazda SE5. Have it all for $11,950.
Said Mazda SE5.
Lease the Mazda SE5 for $159 a month.
You're a judge at America's most prestigious beer competition. You can't see anything. Can't see the labels. All you've got to go on is taste. So who wins the gold medal for best tasting American premium lager? Original Coors. Close your eyes and taste the one that won for taste. Original Coors.
Since the Hendrick Racing Team started using Quaker State, they finished 1-2 in the '96 Winston Cup standings. Finished 1-2-3 this year at Daytona. And they've won at Rockingham, Bristol, Martinsville, and Charlotte. Which makes you wonder, is it in their blood or in their engines? Quaker State, the quality the Hendrick Racing Team demands, the quality your car deserves.
LSU quarterback Herb Tyler hit his first 13 passes in the big opening win over UTEP. He leads LSU against Mississippi State after we're done in Blacksburg. Back to Ron and Mike.
Okay, Michael. Charlie Snyder, Todd Christensen, and Sean Salisbury standing by to